What's going on? I am Nando.
And I'm DJ.
Wow, so random. I'm Diggins.
And this is Mostly Nitpicking, a podcast where every week we pick apart a piece of pop culture by looking exclusively at the details. Woo!
Oh, it's cold.
It's cold in here because we are watching a movie about cold people and things. Is it the coldest movie of the year so far?
I mean, there were people who were scared, frozen to death. So, yes?
I don't know.
I feel like if you go for a night swim when you get out of the pool, you feel pretty cold.
That's pretty
yeah, that was a cold one. Especially if you're like possessed and dead and stuff. Which is, I guess, is not the only ghost movie this year. Which one would win?
Well,
Ghostbusters, Frozen Empire, or Night Swim?
Well, the night swim's not a ghost; it's an evil wishing well from Native American times.
But it traps ghosts in it. Right? Like there's people
kinda
that got sucked into the well.
Oh, yeah, I guess there is the little girl ghost.
Yeah. That's what you need in a movie. You get a little girl ghost in the movie and the people will show up, apparently.
People love little girl ghosts.
Apparently.
Be it a water ghost or a fire ghost.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you want.
Yeah. Speaking of that, we'll talk about Ghostbusters Frozen Empire very soon. That is the movie of the week. Before that, let's talk about news of the week. You guys saw it. There's a Marvel Overwatch game that they made, I guess, yesterday. I don't know when it came up, but nobody knew about it until yesterday. So that's interesting.
Well, they just took Overwatch and swapped out the models.
Yeah, did somebody just find it in the parking lot? Like, where did it come from?
It comes out like in a couple months or something?
Well, yeah, it was interesting. The YouTube description for it said the alpha starts in April, and then the video said May. So
okay,
you're still figuring that out, I guess. But like, yeah, I had not seen any development on this whatsoever.
Well, they have a team of video game developers, artists, coders, etc., working in what is essentially an open furnace 24/7. Every a couple days or so, they send someone in to sweep up all of the ones who died, and then they shovel in a few more to replace them, so that it can be done in just about a month or so of work.
Fascinating. And I mean, it got a lot of attention, so it worked. Whatever they were going for, it was successful.
It only cost a few dozen human lives, so it was probably worth it.
Who's going to be your guys' main?
My main. I mean, it's going to be Magic because she's in it, but I don't know what she does. I guess she transforms into like Mega Magic Evil one from the comics.
If we look at those symbols, she seems to be an offense-oriented class.
Oh, are there symbols? I didn't realize that. That makes sense.
There's symbols that I interpreted as being offense, defense, and support. And she was an
Who's
offense.
a support?
Loki's a support.
Yeah, that doesn't feel right, does it? I
No,
guess Doctor Strange feels like a support, maybe because he does portals.
Has a lot of magic and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I can see how you would make him a support.
Yeah.
Let me look at who else is support on this thing, or at least that I'm interpreting.
Who are your mains going to be, fellas?
Obviously,
Lady Galactus, of course.
She's not in it yet. She's probably just in the title and then maybe they'll make her in like 8, updates.
Well, then I'm not playing until 8 updates in when I can be sexy Lady Galactus.
I'm going to be everyone's favorite Luna Snow.
Yeah,
obviously.
Luna Snow. K-pop star or something. I read a comic book with her in it this morning and I've already forgotten what her whole deal was. She's got ice powers. And you know what? That's great. I'm happy for everybody that loves Luna Snow. Diggins, do you know anything about Luna Snow? Yeah.
I'm hearing about Luna Snow for the first time this very minute.
Did you watch the trailer for this game?
No.
Okay.
I don't really like multiplayer FPSs, so...
But you didn't even want to see Lady Galactus in action?
Yeah, come on.
I already have on other videos.
Oh, God.
Well, then there you go. Yeah, it seems like Luna Snow, it's interesting. Some of these guys feel like it's like, all right, that's a guy. Like, that's what you get when you put magic in this game. And some of them feel like, hey, what Overwatch characters can we put in this game? Like the little girl in the mech. We got that one.
Right.
And then you got the little ice girl. You got May, kind of, from Overwatch. Although, you know what? The girl in the mech apparently is Hulk. Have you seen this?
I have not.
Hulk is going to play like Diva, where he's either Bruce Banner or Hulk, to the point where Bruce Banner even has a little pistol that he whips out to shoot as while he's just Bruce Banner. So it's pretty good. Somebody should have thought of that in the movies. Just give him a pistol.
How many of these guys actually have guns is the question.
I mean, one of them is the Punisher, which is also
the Punisher,
insane.
So the Punisher doesn't feature in the trailer, but he is there. I would say, let me look at this little thing. How many of them have guns? I mean, Rocket Raccoon has a gun. Iron Man has a gun, kind of. Penny Parker, the robot spider, also kind of has a gun.
I mean, listen, if 90s cartoons taught me anything, it's that lasers don't count as guns.
Oh, that's true.
That's true.
And then I guess it's really just Rocket Raccoon then.
And the Punisher.
And the Punisher, yeah, we'll see. I haven't seen, like I said, we haven't seen like what he actually possesses. Oh, and Star-Lord is in it. So like for people that haven't seen this, some sort of game, I don't know. Like we said, it's kind of like Overwatch. It's made by this company that I've never heard of before called NetEase. That makes games, I believe, for like largely Chinese audiences. Like it's games that are on that one platform that I can't remember the name of. Something, I don't know.
Epic Games.
And maybe it's very popular, but nobody I know was like, oh sweet, those guys. Everybody was like, all right, I guess. So that's not a great sign. But they put out the trailer, and it's mostly clips of one team fighting another team, and then in the end they show a third team just standing there, and that's the one with Punisher and Star-Lord on it. So I'm going to assume they both just have big old regular guns. But honestly, fewer guns than I expected. I expected them to have a lot of guns. Like, kind of like the Suicide Squad game, where they all just have guns anyway, you know?
Right. Yeah.
So it's pretty good. How many days do you think we're going to play this for? 2?
I mean,
3?
I let me see what the gameplay loop is, because it's going to be free to play. So they're going to milk you for cosmetics. So
Yeah.
we'll see how that goes.
I mean, listen, Overwatch had a long, healthy life cycle before Blizzard destroyed everything people liked about it.
Yeah.
So, I think since it's just built on the ruins of Overwatch, it'll probably last at least a couple months.
I mean,
yeah.
If they just put in a PvE mode at some point, for real, they'll do great.
Some of the characters like Loki are ease. Like just have you fight Loki in the PvE mode or something. You know, Magneto's in it too. He's a bad guy sometimes.
Is he?
Yeah, occasionally. The Punisher's a bad guy sometimes, occasionally. And so those guys could be bad, I guess. I don't know. But this is going to be the hot new thing.
I mean, putting the Punisher in will mean they'll get all the cops to play it.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. They love themselves.
They love the Punisher. He's pretty cool. Does feel like he'd be not like outclassed in this group, but this group is a lot of guys that are like main Avengers and the Punisher. I don't know why he's in it. Besides, I guess maybe to get the cops on board, but like not like Daredevil or any of those guys.
I mean, there was that one time he killed the entire Marvel universe.
Everybody's done that though. They can't stop doing that.
What's new?
Yeah. I feel like maybe that was like he feels like the only one that they went, you know what? Let's put a guy with a gun in. Who's got guns in Marvel stuff? Oh, Punisher? Yeah, he'll be in it. Cause like that's the easy part. And I mean like so maybe he'll be great.
Maybe every time you play you'll just be against 6 Punishers.
Yeah. Do you think like there's all kinds of weird little team ups where like the Hulk and Iron Man can like help each other because they're good friends?
Right.
Who's the least popular one of these? Namor? Like who will have no team ups because no one likes to hang out with him in the comics?
Universe least popular?
Yeah. Like out of these guys who are in it, besides Luna Snow, of course, but she is a K-pop star, so people seem to like that.
I mean, I don't know how well known she is in universe.
Everybody knows her. Go back to what is it? Marvel Presents 1, the one where Human Torch is fighting Namor or whatever, and they're all listening to that hot new Luna Snow beat, and they're like, "What the heck is K-pop? It's the 50s or something." And they're like, "We'll find out soon."
I mean, is everyone still mad at Scarlet Witch over House of M?
No,
That's-
not even a little bit.
Didn't
It's
she
all
do,
fine
like,
now.
House of M2, the squeakle recently?
Well, she did. First of all, she did backwards House of M, where she House of M'd it at Avengers vs X-Men, and then she got killed, which is usually what has to happen for everybody to be like, "Nah, you're cool." You know, they bring you back, and then it's like that. None of that stuff counted anymore.
Wait, take backsies? We're in like
yeah.
take backsies mode.
The Marvel's the one that's doing House of M, where they're just like taking away all the cool stuff everybody liked that the Krakoa team was doing. So, you know, maybe she's in charge of Marvel. I don't know, but I hear it's that new guy who says everything's too woke. You guys seen this guy?
No.
Yeah.
This could be other news. There's a Marvel guy who wants to buy Marvel, says Marvel's too woke or something. Just Google Marvel woke and see if it comes up. Yep, here it is.
He is a shareholder, and he's trying to be like a head shareholder person or something.
That's right. So I'm gonna read this as the first like little bit of this Variety article. Nelson Peltz, the activist investor agitating to win 2 Disney board seats, criticized the company's woke strategy, specifically questioning Marvel's Black Panther and The Marvels, which feature Black and women leads respectively. He is 81, and he admitted he never claimed to have experience in the media business, but he said in this interview with Financial Times, quote, "Why do I have to have a Marvel movie that's all women? Not that I have anything against women, but why do I have to do that? Why can't I have Marvels that are both? Why do I need an all-black cast?" So that's something.
Why do we need to do that once ever? It's ridiculous. We should do it 0 times ever.
I mean, this is the guy that's going to be in charge, so that is what it will be. Which male Marvel do you want? If we had to pick one.
Which
Hawkeye? Can he be one?
Yeah, he's a good one.
Flying around.
I mean, they
mentoring
could
all
do the
characters.
original Captain Marvel, but didn't he like end up being gay? So that's not allowed.
Well, I mean, he was gay in the sense that he's not. I don't think he's explicitly gay. His just whole deal is a very thinly veiled reference to gay issues at the time.
Oh,
but
right. He got like space AIDS.
Yeah, he got space AIDS, and he had to call his boyfriend and be like, "Guys, you should get tested for space AIDS." And Rick
You'll
Jones
never
was
guess.
like, "I don't really have anything I could do about that." But I was gonna say, the original Marvel is in the Captain Marvel movie. She's played by that one person. Wendy Lawson is that character's name, I believe, in the movie. She's played by that one actor who's like a real actor who's how each one of these movies has to have one real actor in it, where you're like, them? God, what was it? Which one is it? It's not Annette Bening. Is it Annette Bening? No. Somebody else. Who is it? Oh, it's Annette Bening. I'm sorry about that.
Oh,
yeah.
There you go.
So she's the one, she's like the real actor who shows up and has like a cameo and you'll never see her again. But yeah, they that was the thing where they made Marvel technically her instead. So maybe this guy can have a new way where like a different guy shows up, like Henry Cavill probably, and he's like, "I'm the real Marvel. That other Marvel doesn't count." And then, he could be the main character now. The Marvels. And then who do you want?
Real Marvel, please stand up.
Who's your white Black Panther?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Is it finally time for Ryan Gosling to take up the mantle he's always wanted? He says he's going to be in a Marvel movie.
Oh,
maybe it's this. Maybe him and Nelson Peltz are making the run for it.
Oh no, it's easy. Zachary Levi.
Oh yeah,
he would come in and decide I'm the white Black Panther.
That would be pretty good. And he's a guy we all love.
Yeah,
so
everybody
loves
get away with it. Zachary Levi, and he's never done or said anything weird or have any really weird friends.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. I'm wondering, like, so this movie, like, it's weird because all these movies do have like one token white guy in them.
Mm-hmm.
Usually it's usually Martin Freeman. Yeah, and then Andy Serkis a little bit. Do you think there should be more? Do you think they wanted Martin Freeman to be the main character? Can we do that?
I bet this guy would.
Can he be the next Black Panther?
Yeah, just watching that whole Black Panther 2, like, what is little Everett Ross think about all of this? I bet he is not happy with what Namor is doing to Wakanda.
he wants there to be the story of the heroic American white man who comes in and saves the African country because they don't know how to solve the problems like he does.
Yeah. He was watching Black Panther going like, I do want to see him drive home with Julia Louis-Dreyfus, though. Why are we teasing scenes like that and not showing them? And that's pretty good. And then, yeah, he wanted a whole scene in the Marvels where we actually watch the K-pop guy do cool singing and stuff instead of just had him sing one line and then go, never mind, I don't sing. And then just talk normally.
But he's right about that, though.
Yeah, he is. I mean, he's got some good points. Nelson Peltz, Diggins believes it. And he's like Black Panther, make Prince Yan sing more. Those are two ideas you completely co-signed.
Yep, that's right.
We never find out what happened to Prince Yan's planet, you know? They stole all his water. Yeah, they all died, I assume.
Yeah, probably.
Right? Yeah. They should have to go back there and apologize for that or something. Now that they have a son, that could be a thing now. There'd be they used to be like the Kree Skrull War, but the Skrulls are sympathetic refugees, except for the couple of them that wanted to do a genocide, take over the world or whatever. But like the usual group is that. So maybe now it's the Kree Aldani War or something. It's pretty cool. No, Aldani's from Star Wars. I can't remember what planet this is supposed to be, but the one with the singing people. Be pretty good.
I was going to say Aldani's where Andor did that heist.
That is, yeah, I knew I was thinking of something. It's got it's an A name, but whatever it is, they're all dead now, so it doesn't matter. Remember that scene in the Marvels where they all get new costumes and just stand around in them for a second? Then they have to do a fight, and the bad guy, or not the bad guy, well, no, the Prince Yan is like, Kamala, your scarf is a whip with some sort of like mind of its own. And she's like, okay. That's a crazy thing to just throw in there. And nobody else got one of those, you know?
That's a good point.
And she never uses it again during the big fight with what's her name at the end. How did they get that far into the movie?
Well, when they filmed that scene, they hadn't come up with the scarf tip yet.
Yeah. Man. That's one of the weirdest little things in these. But it's a reference to that one time she went into space and got her symbiote. It was an evil costume that took over her mind for a little bit or something.
Oh.
But they just didn't bother doing any of it. They just wanted to be, you know, kind of like that. So it was a scarf that could whip around or something.
I mean, symbiotes might exist in the MCU now after they squandered the promise of Tom Hardy in the MCU.
That's right. But they
Is
might
there
all
still
be,
hope.
they might all be coming back. Yeah. The guy from somebody, I don't know, maybe this guy. Somebody said, well, there have been leaks that Marvel and Sony want to do a fourth Spider-Man movie. And Marvel wants to do a cute little team up with Daredevil or something. And Sony wants to do Multiverse Part 2, Morbius, Craven, and Madam Web or whatever.
Yeah.
So we might get some version of both of those. But yeah, so we might see Venom again. He might get drunk again or something and then leave again, probably.
I hope so.
Yeah. He'll probably be in this game eventually. That's the kind of shit they love to do is put Venom in stuff. And you're
That's
like,
my wish.
We could put somebody else in it, please. And they're like, no.
Everyone loves Venom. I hope Tom Hardy voices the video game character also.
I mean, that movie's supposed to come out this year, too. Venom 3.
Uh-huh.
The Last Dance. I think we got a title for that recently.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So,
it's gonna be,
totally.
It's going to be like that Michael Jordan documentary.
yeah, Venom gets a gambling addiction or something. And it destroys the symbiote in him because they believe in different teams. They don't know what to bet on. Pretty cool.
Yeah, once another family torn apart by FanDuel.
Yeah.
There's too many victims.
Yeah. Speaking of families torn apart, let's talk about this new movie.
Good one.
Yeah,
Good
this is a movie about family, you guys, which means we can't criticize it. It's Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. You guys, what is this? Ghostbusters 4? 5 if you count the ones that don't count, for sure. Right? Like
it's 4 in the main line continuity.
Yeah. And that's not even true. Because it's 2 in a new continuity. There's no way any of the other ones happened, right? Like, we'll get to it, but they pretend they do, but they don't. Like,
Does the cartoon count?
Oh.
The cartoons are not in canon with this, although they apparently took a lot of cues from one of the cartoons for this movie.
They did, didn't they? Yeah. And that was the best part, maybe. So we'll get to it. But you guys, before we do that, we got to talk about some wheel or IMDb stuff. First of all, IMDb controversy, DJ.
I don't know about controversy. I think I put up a good fight, and I think the fans understand what the deal is, and they understand that the deck is stacked against me, but that I will still soldier on because I'm a good trooper like that. Even though I'm in a no-win situation. Let's
be clear. The deck is stacked against you because Nando and I have functioning human memories, and you have, for like a goldfish, forget everything the second it enters your brain.
How dare you, sir? That's offensive.
We're able to remember that one character that constantly gets put at number 1 in lists of the greatest villains in all of cinema, and the actor that played him. I mean, not Diggins can't either because he didn't do it in last week, but I did. I remember Anthony Hopkins. So that's pretty good.
I think the fun in the game is the ones that we forget as a group, and the listeners are like, how did you do that? And I think that's fun.
Yeah. I think so too. But also, another listener pointed this out on the Discord. It's weird that we get to study for these, but we don't get to study for the IMDb B as in spelling bee. I kind of agree.
How would
you study for the spelling bee other than looking up the summary?
Yeah, exactly. But with this, you just read all the names on IMDb and figure out what those actors have done.
But that is to prepare, right?
Well, yeah, but I mean, I feel like there's two versions of preparing kind of in this. One is that where you go through IMDb and you look and you go, what else has Kumail Nanjiani played?
Right.
And then there's the other one where you like think about it, but you don't check yourself so that it's like still not determined by how many you can remember based on memorizing it yesterday. It's like,
I mean, I would never win this game then because I go through it. I'm like, oh yeah. And it just like, refreshes the memory banks.
And we don't have to continue playing this game. We can play other games.
Maybe the game is bad then, but people seem to like the game.
People kind of like the game. Maybe they just like whatever game one of us loses at consistently and makes that person angry. So like,
it's always me because I'm a sore loser.
But But what about also we offer to not play the game and that person insists that we must play that game and then whines when he loses?
Oh, whine is, come on now, that's not fair. I wouldn't say that.
Well, I'll also say someone brought this up. They were like, I do want him to see DJ or Diggins and Nando go up against each other, but they'll never play each other, so we'll never know which one, would win.
But also, the game is a tiebreaker. It is possible to just win the IMDb summary.
It's impossible.
It can't be done.
As it happened in so long. It's like, I'm trying to think of what this is like, because there's versions of this in real life where like kind of the weight of the tiebreaker being fun makes it so that no one ever wins the IMDb summary anymore. I'll think of an example eventually.
But also, it's like last week, right? I believe, if I recall, Nando, you had said, oh, DJ, your summary was a little bit closer, but you still don't win, go to tiebreaker.
That's right.
But how is, I don't know.
Like, it's a win in that, like, technically it is closer, but it's not a win in that I think you won. It's like, I feel like to win without hitting a tiebreaker, you've got to, like, definitively win. I do think there should be some deference in the tiebreaker given to the person who does the best in the, like, whole thing. Like, if you do well in the main IMDb, you go into the tiebreaker with a little bit of advantage. But this game, there's no advantage. It is a head-to-head brawl. Well, usually the advantage is I say that one didn't count, DJ. You could go again because of the advantage you have. I think I've done that at least once. So that I guess would be it. But at this point, I'm convinced that you and Diggins don't want to see me win. That's fine. We don't want to play the game every single time. You're the one that always pushes for it. So... Yeah. Well, let's see about this week. Yeah, we'll see again. I mean, I'm not prepared for this summary for sure. Like, I have no idea what the summary for this is. I mean, again, there's no way to prepare for the summary. Well, I mean, watching the movie prepares you a little bit, but even sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it does. Yeah. Sometimes it doesn't. But having watched the movie now, I'm like, which one of the 15 plot lines will the summary be? We'll never know. Could be anything. A heroic British man. goes to a zoo or something.
Diggins gets to lead us off, so he'll prep us so we can be prepared to fail.
Yeah.
Because we are about to play a little game called the IMDb B as in spelling bee. If you've never been here before, that's a little game where my two esteemed co-hosts have to try to guess what the IMDb summary for this movie is. Now, you might be asking yourself, where does IMDb get all of those wonderful summaries? Well, I'll tell you. You see, there is a mine in Central Africa, where which is the only known source of a mineral known as samarium. And the special property of samarium is that if you crack open the geodes and sort of just let the fluid that is contained within them, like an egg, leak out onto a piece of paper, it reassembles itself into a summary for a movie. So ever since the early 90s, IMDb.com has retained ownership of the only mine that sources this samarium. They've had to basically they've hired a lot of like ex-CIA operatives and such in order to perform a bunch of coups, assassinate a bunch of key officials, and otherwise do everything they can to maintain their iron grip on this one natural resource of this country, and make sure that they can continue paying near slave wages to the workers who dozens, if not hundreds, die every year working in these mines. It's actually really awful, and we should stop supporting IMDb as a company.
And Amazon, right? Because they own IMDb?
Yes, correct.
One of those companies owns IMDb.
But I have that blood sumarium summary right here for Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, and it's pretty good, honestly. I would say it's not comprehensive, but I think for what it does have in it, I think it's pretty good. So DJ, as last week's loser, you get to choose who goes first.
I mean, I'm making Nando go first. There's just like no way.
This is gonna be tricky because like you said it's a good summary, or at least like an adequate summary. So I'm going to say Ghostbusters. Oh, no. I don't even know what the fuck they're called. Now in New York City, the Ghostbusters family must work with some old friends and new friends. That can't be it. Well, yeah, whatever. To stop an ancient ghost that threatens to freeze the entire world.
Okay. DJ.
Right. Okay. A new team of Okay. Restart. Working as a new team of Ghostbusters, the Spanglers must reunite with some old friends to combat the greatest ghost threat New York City has ever seen.
Wow, that's such bullshit if that's what the summary is, because this is like the third, maybe fourth worst one. And I'm counting some of the ones from cartoons.
Like, I would say you have an argument for Vigo, but I don't know about Gozer. I don't think this is worse than Gozer.
Well,
No, I don't even think this is worse than Vigo. No, absolutely not. I feel like you could convince people this one didn't happen. Which, like, to be fair, apparently you can do to the other ones too.
Yeah. Okay. You both did not like amazing, but not bad either.
Great.
Darn it.
But I actually do think I have a winner.
Wow.
And that winner is Nando.
Oh my gosh, incredible.
No, let's do the tiebreaker. We definitely have to do the tiebreaker.
I mean, if you want to
take another L like this.
If you want to do the tiebreaker, you could do the tiebreaker, I guess.
No, you said he what? Why would Nando ever agree to that?
I would I'll agree to it for sure, because it's always funny to do it, and I don't get to do as many tiebreakers. I feel like I've only done one tiebreaker. So maybe I'll be good at it.
All right, we could do it. I do think Nando won, but
That's
all right,
good to hear.
It's fine. If you say this is literally the thing I was saying, that is like, well, if you think someone won, say they won.
Wow.
So that's the thing I said.
No, it's too late. DJ, who's going first? in this
Oh my
tiebreaker?
god. Well, it's an advantage to go first. All right, whatever. We're just in this shit now.
Let's do it.
Camille Nanjiani, Kingo, Eternals.
You took all the great Marvel characters that all these guys have played off the board.
Yeah, I just wanted to just take that off the table to begin with.
I wish I could have used Krylar. I was really excited to say Krylar. Bullshit. Also, are they friends from these? Is that why he was in the
maybe.
Ant-Man movie? I'm thinking like now. Maybe he was.
Maybe.
You know?
Who
Well, because he's
knows?
friends with Paul Rudd.
Yeah. It's good enough of an explanation for any of these people being in any of these movies, but especially him. He's in one scene that gets eaten or something. I don't remember if he dies or not, but like, I think he was like, they were hanging out on the set of Ghostbusters 1 or whatever, Ghostbusters Afterlife. And he was like, hey, I hear you're doing a movie with Michelle Pfeiffer. And he was like, yeah, I do the Ant-Man movies with her. Okay. Can we insinuate that me and Michelle Pfeiffer had sex in whatever this fucking thing is? I'll just stand around on set. You can do whatever you want. And I was like, okay. Make sure I'm dead by the end of it so I don't have to do two. Like, all right, sure. Do you want to get paid? Oh, absolutely. I want to get paid. I'm going to be a nightmare to work with, but I will be there. So we're doing it. Okay, so I guess I'll go next. There's so many people in this movie.
Yeah, it's stacked.
Well, yeah, you know what? There are a lot of people. Well, I guess there's quite a few people in this movie. I'm going to go ahead and say, speaking of that, Paul Rudd plays Brian Fantana in the Anchorman movies,
Yeah,
1 and 2. I assume. Maybe he gets his name changed though. You never know.
I'm just gonna grab this one off the board. Finn Wolfhard, Mike in Stranger Things.
Sure.
You sure? He's in Stranger Things?
I don't think so.
Oh, that doesn't seem right.
No, actually, that's
I'd
wrong.
recognize
Seasons
him.
1 through 4.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Episodes like all of them.
Yeah. I'm going to say every member of this cast, their weird band. No, I'm just kidding. He does have a band, and then so does the other one. So does
They all
they all have bands now. Every actor, I guess it's like what you do. And before there were hot ones, we would all just ignore Gary Sinise when he talked about his band, but now we have to talk about it because they're on Hot Ones. So.
Well, I feel it was like a thing where like every comedian was also a rapper in like the 2000s and 10s. That was like a crossover.
Who is those?
Or maybe like actor rapper, not necessarily comedian rapper.
Yeah, that feels more right.
Yeah, Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah,
Marky Mark.
But Marky Mark was, well, I don't remember what his career trajectory was. I want to say he started as a model and then went to actor / was he might have been a musician before, whatever we're calling, musician before he was an actor. Because New Kids on the Block was his brother, obviously, but I don't know. Never know. Okay, let's think. Who else is in this? God, you'd think there'd be more Patton Oswalt characters who I could name. I really can't. Well, you know what? I don't know if this counts.
I'm listening.
I don't think this counts, but I'll say it, and then you guys could decide. I'm going to say in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., he plays a character named Agent Koenig. He plays, in fact, 3 characters named Agent Koenig. But also, I don't think those count in the Marvel stuff because they're not in the same universe. They've never crossed over successfully into the real ones. I think it's its own thing.
Diggins is the judge for this, so I'll let him.
Does he appear in seasons when it has definitively split from the continuity?
No, but I don't think it has ever. Not really, but I don't think there's ever been any indication that it is part of the continuity in the actual MCU. Like,
I remember in that first season, which is the only season I've ever watched, there are lots of things about having to clean up from the Chitauri invasion and like specifically post a Thor movie stuff.
In the show, it says that, but in the movies, nobody's ever like, "Hey, who's cleaning this up?" Agent Coulson, that guy that exists.
Right, but
feels like it's like a splintered timeline from there.
But it
we don't have to count it.
It doesn't. I don't think because like just because the movies don't acknowledge it doesn't mean it's not in continuity. Nobody ever says like, "Hey, when was I hung out with Kristen Ritter the other day, hanging out in Hell's Kitchen, and that was cool." But like, we don't question that Jessica Jones is in continuity.
Oh, I think we definitely question that Jessica Jones is in continuity. 100%.
Nando gets that, and then I'll take like, what if Paul Rudd Ant-Man? Now we're even.
All right, so that's the same thing as it not counting.
All right, fine. Let's do. I didn't want to go back to him so quickly, but let's do Kumail Nanjiani in the show Silicon Valley. His character's named Dinesh. I don't know what his last name is, but that's usually enough.
I mean, I'll give you that if that's correct.
I hope it is.
I've never watched that show, so I have
no shit!
idea.
No, it's Riley. Damn it! I got it wrong. No, it's Dinesh. It's Dinesh.
No, it's Dinesh.
Yeah, apparently. Dinesh. Was there any movement on that? Did anybody say like he does say Riley in this one scene?
Apparently, I was very wrong. Apparently,
one guy actually, or somebody on the Discord pointed out how at one point the rival character specifically calls him Riley to make fun of him because it's not his name.
But someone did say those Australian accents are impossible to parse.
Yeah, I remember
that did come up.
There were Russian characters too that probably had pretty bad accents. Like,
yeah, but they also didn't talk.
That's true. Yeah. They went, "Oh no, we're exploding," and then they died.
On Silicon Valley, his name is Dinesh. So
yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
I'm just gonna grab the easy Patton Oswalt. So Patton Oswalt, Remy, Ratatouille.
His name's Ratatouille in that, DJ. I don't know.
Yeah, come on.
Oh, son of a bitch.
Yep, that's why he's Ratatouille. I'm gonna say the only one I actually did look up, and I didn't look up what she is in it, but I had to look up this actor's name because I didn't know it. Celeste O'Connor, the kid who's, I think their name in this is Lucky or something. I don't know. They were in the last one. Who gives a shit? Yeah. Plays Maddie Franklin in Madam Web, a movie we all know and love.
I was really hoping someone would say this.
I had to, because I was curious about her. I was like, I've seen her in something recently, and that was that.
All right. I think
wells run dry.
No. Because I have a couple that I just got to get out there before I forget. So, okay. Paul Rudd, Role Models, a movie I've seen way too much. His character's name is Danny.
Well, let's see about that.
Because what's her face says it all the time. What's her face? Who's in that movie?
Who is in that movie?
Sean William Scott.
I couldn't name.
Paul Rudd, apparently.
I know those two. I couldn't.
Paul Rudd is Danny,
and Sean Michael Scott's Wheeler, and then
that's correct.
I've seen this movie too much.
You don't get any points for that, but it is true.
Elizabeth Banks is Paul Rudd's like girlfriend. But
right, yeah.
Yeah, it's good. It's a fine movie. You know who's in it? Christopher Mintz-Plasse. I can't remember his character's name, but he's in that.
Wow, so once it comes to women, you can't remember their names, but the men they date, you've got.
I also can't remember Christopher Mintz-Plasse's character in that movie either.
He used to be in stuff, right? He been in stuff recently.
McLovin.
Yeah, it's like he does stuff now. You just don't recognize him because he looks so different.
Does he look different? Maybe. He got a lot of fillers.
He's one of those guys who, when he grew up, got hot.
I'm going to Google him. How dare you insinuate he wasn't hot when he was young? Oh, he's in a band, of course. Yeah. His first Instagram picture when I Googled his name was him, first of all, bleach blonde hair, which I have seen lots of people doing. I mean, Kumail in this movie did. And apparently, I think he was in one of the Trolls movies, I guess.
He's in most of the Trolls, too.
Oh, yeah, he is in all the Trolls. That's right.
Jane Lynch, that's who's in Role Models.
That's true, but also
cool.
doesn't count for anything.
Okay.
I had to get that out before I forgot.
Well, all right. I'll go next. I will say in Parks and Recreation, Paul Rudd plays a character very famously named Bobby Newport.
That's true.
That was
heir to the Sweetums Empire or something. I can't remember. It's been a while
right.
since I watched that show.
Let's just get this one out. Bill Murray, Space Jam. Bill Murray.
See, I don't know, Diggins. What are we doing on themselves?
No, we did. This is the end with.
I know, and I think it was a mistake.
I did count that.
I think the question should be: do they play a character named that, or are they self?
But he is self in that movie, but like that's a part of it. It's not Bill Murray is Space Jam in.
I have a compromise.
I
will allow it, but you can only use one self for an actor. So like any other movie where they play themselves, you can't use it.
So I can't use Zombieland?
No.
I was going to say. Because there are a bunch of movies, because he was so epic bacon in the 2000s that we all loved putting him in shit.
And he liked not having to work.
Yeah, he liked doing it. So, yeah. Man, that's a bummer. Because he's easy in that regard. Let's see. I'm pretty sure she was. I know. So McKenna Grace has been in a lot of things. She's one of those kid actors who's been like working her whole life. I don't watch Young Sheldon. I know she's in Young Sheldon. I don't think she plays Young Sheldon. So technically that one could count if I could remember this character's name, but I can't. God, I wish James Acaster was in more stuff so I could use him. I feel like I'm going to go through like 15 Paul Rudd characters because he's in everything.
He is in everything.
I
have a couple ones in my back pocket.
Because you guys can't remember women, you can only remember men.
I mean, like Carrie Coon. Okay, so first of all, she's in like an Avengers movie, so there's that. I don't remember her character's name. Oh no, I do. She's her character in the Leftovers, I believe, is named Nora.
Let's see.
God,
I don't remember what her last name is, but it's Nora something.
I gotta watch The Leftovers one of these days. Everything I hear is it's way up my alley.
It's interesting, but like, does it come together? I can never, and I like enjoy it, but it's got all the same problems as the usual Damon Lindelof thing, which is like, this is saying something, but I don't know what it is. But
her name is Nora.
Yeah. What's her last name? Burke, something like that.
It's like a certain famous singer who's always rolling.
Oh, Durst?
Yeah, Nora Durst.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess that rhymes with what I thought it was.
Okay. I want to get this one off the board. Movie we did recently, Ernie Hudson, Captain Monroe.
That's true.
That was a good movie he was in.
Just did that.
I like that. That was a bummer he didn't do his accent in this. It wouldn't have made any sense, but it didn't make much sense in that movie either. Yeah.
Can you imagine?
It's like something's up with him, but I can't quite put my finger on it.
You know, Ernie Hudson is 78 years old.
Yeah, I've seen lots of pictures of him.
Good.
Yeah, the man looks incredible.
Wow.
It's pretty insane, especially because like all the rest of the Ghostbusters don't look incredible.
Yeah,
they look like old men because that's what they are. But yeah, it is weird that he.
I'll have what he's having. That's crazy.
Oh,
he's getting that blood, whatever transfusions.
Mm-hmm.
It's German blood transfusions.
I don't know that it's German blood he's getting.
Maybe
that's how they look so good.
I mean, he probably doesn't know. I don't know. I guess he would know if you're buying blood to get transfused into your body. You would definitely want to know where it came from. I wouldn't have any input. Like I wouldn't be like, ew, Norway, but I'd at least want to know. I'd want to feel like I had some control over it.
Well, of course, Nando, you wouldn't be upset about Norway. It's one of our whitest countries.
Apparently, yeah. Well, listen, I mean, I feel like out of all the blood I want, the one I want the most is Dracula blood. So Transylvania, Romania, any of those places, that's where I'm starting.
I want vampire blood.
That also happens to be one of our whitest places as well. So
or Phoenix blood. If I can get Phoenix, Arizona blood, I'll take that. I'll take Phoenix, Arizona blood.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's one of the worst places for vampires. The sun is out all the time.
No, Phoenix. I'm thinking like because Phoenixes are resurrected.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
like from Harry
Town
Potter.
actually named after the phoenix. Like, it is named after the mythical creature.
Well, it has to be, right?
Fun fact. Yeah, what else?
Otherwise, yeah, what would they just guess?
Yeah.
We came up with this. Is this anything?
Right, but it's less.
Yeah, that's a mythological thing.
It's
cool.
less that it's that people can resurrect from the dead there, and more that the sun came out and they were like, "Oh my God, why would anyone ever live here? It's like standing on the surface of the sun."
Yeah, it's really hot there now too. Like I feel like
It's problematic with climate change.
it's very problematic. You know what we need is a fucking ghost monster with hordes or whatever to go over there and cool it down a little bit.
She'll help.
This isn't the 80s. This is a problem we have that we could have solved right now. Like we could, yeah. Everybody would like the ghost would start freezing everything, and everybody would be like, "Oh no, it's 1 degree Celsius less." And then the Ghostbusters would show up, and they'd be like, "Give it another minute, and then we could kill the ghost." But we are gonna try to get a little bit out of this. Can we take that little fucking whatever this is, like vacuum cleaner thing to the ice pack or whatever it's called, ice cap,
Polar ice caps.
Yeah. God,
Anyway.
What's another thing? Paul Rudd is in, yeah.
Nan's filibustering.
I should know more Bill Murray stuff too, because I used to love Bill Murray movies before he came really annoying. You know what I'll say for Bill Murray? Because I'm pretty sure we missed one of these last time we did this. He's Baloo in the Jungle Book movie.
That's one of mine too.
That's true.
Yeah.
This is the part of the game where I start to lose. So oh, you know what? Another movie we did fairly recently is relative. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem.
Yeah.
Monto Gecko, Paul Rudd.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Yeah, he was cool in that movie. I don't know if anybody else from this was in that, but I do feel like that could become like a mainstay. Like you could always reach into your back pocket and pull out some random comedian who was in whatever movie you're watching and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem.
Yeah.
You just have to kind of remember what their character was named, I guess, but his is kind of memorable because it's the Gecko one. What's another Patton Oswalt one? I feel like Patton Oswalt should have more, honestly. I'm surprised that I cannot think of that many.
He's done a ton of voice acting, but it's hard to place.
He was in that MODOK show, but the show was called MODOK, so that's not helpful.
I actually have one.
Well, it's not your turn.
Okay. Well, I'll save it for when it is my turn then.
Let's see. Was podcasting anything else? Probably not. He should be, though.
Get the podcast files.
He's not a humongous star. I mean, he was fine in this. God, I don't think I'm out of these, am I? There's got to be more. Like, okay, Bill Murray. His name and What About Bob is Bob.
What does the timer start?
That doesn't help. Oh, yeah, now DJ's pulling out the timer after maybe 1 minute max.
I'll give you like 12 minutes on a timer.
Okay,
like,
well,
I don't care.
You just want to have it on the record how long it took.
All right, so Diggins, start a 12-minute timer, please.
I'm
Excellent.
not going to do that.
Okay. Another Bill Murray stuff.
It's like I won't. It'll be funny when it is 12 minutes from now, though.
What's another movie that an actor has been in? Like, I'm trying to think of movies where I can remember one of the characters holding the paycheck they got for the movie in the scene and going like,
you were going down the child actor route earlier with what's your mix.
I know, but that's the thing, right? Like these, I don't know what the, like, I've done this before. One of them's in fucking something.
Many of them are in something.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's McKenna Grace is in some, she's in a couple things that I've seen. I remember looking this up before this because she was one of my picks. I think she'd be a great Stephanie Brown in the DC Comics stuff. If they ever made it. I think she still is too, because she seems young. I don't know how old she is. She's probably in her 20s. But
she is 18.
Really?
She's 17 right now. She'll be 18 in June.
Okay. So that's great. Then she could still play a 17-year-old in 15 years whenever they get around to making a movie with Stephanie Brown in it. How old is her little ghost girlfriend in this? Is she can't be 18, right? She looks older.
Yeah, I had that thought watching the movie.
Yeah. Did you look it up?
I'm looking it up now.
Okay.
Unfortunately, she doesn't have a year on her birthday in
I feel like she's probably like maybe 20.
Wait, what?
What? She's
a ghost in real life?
Yeah, right?
What?
Her birthday is given as no date, 2001 or 2002.
Sometimes they have that because the actor just doesn't, we don't know what they were. So
good for them. Protect them. But that would put them at like 22 or 3. So
yeah.
Put them at
okay. Yeah. I've stalled long enough. I want to do this because I think it's funny to do. I'm going to say in the movie Ghostbusters from 2016, a movie that is in no way connected to this movie, Dan Aykroyd plays a character that cannot be named anything but cab driver. Because he is the cab driver.
Let me see how he's credited.
Oh, this is gonna
It'd be so funny if he had a full name and backstory. Well, no.
Or if it's like taxi driver.
Or either one of those.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yellow car driver.
Mm-hmm. Taxi driver with the number, license plate, and all that specific stuff. DJ's going in editing IMDb pages as we go. Because you can edit IMDb pages.
Okay.
You know, it's not that hard. Well,
if this is verified, I have the one that my Patton Oswalt voice actor one.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I forgot it. Yeah, like
I clung on to this as soon as you said it. I'm like, I'm holding it.
Like I know he was on Venture Brothers, but I can't remember the name of his character.
Oh, that's one. Well,
it's a hard one. Like you'd have to. Do you know it?
I have a guess, but I don't want to guess that and be wrong.
It's a character who's only in it once or something. He's like a one and done.
Oh, then I'm thinking of someone else.
I think you are, and it's the same thing that I was thinking of, but yeah, it's a different guy.
Okay, never mind then.
Yeah,
Diggins.
Sorry, I have to like go to his IMDb to see what it's like. The actual like written credit is, you know.
You can do Wikipedia too. Wikipedia
doesn't have like a written credit. Is the thing? It just says that he plays this. So
interesting
to find.
I mean, he is a taxi driver in that movie, and
he says, "I ain't afraid of no ghosts."
Yeah, I ain't afraid no
from
ghosts.
the movies. You know,
he's on a weird accent.
He's credited as Cabby. So
Cabby.
Okay.
Nice. Love that.
I feel like that's okay. Yeah.
All right. So this is the one I cling on to. So in Rick and Morty, Patton Oswalt plays like in the Hive Mind episode, he plays like a rival or like an other interested hive mind. And I believe the name of the hive mind is Beta 7.
Wow.
I mean, if that's true, well done. I'm looking it up as we speak.
No, well done. I watched too much Rick and Morty. That's not well done.
Fair enough. Let's see here.
30-some-year-old with the sensibilities of a 17-year-old.
Yeah, you have a son.
Yeah,
and I watched the values.
This is how you're going to red pill your son. It's important.
Just listen, guys. Rick and Morty is an underrated show that if you watch it, you're smarter than everyone.
It is pretty good, you know.
I love it.
We had to go back around on it though because everyone was so annoying. You have to be like, but I do watch it because it's pretty good.
I put it on as background all the time.
Yeah,
like it makes you laugh. I love it. I don't care.
I think the new season was pretty good.
I loved it. Yeah.
I can't remember too many of the episodes, but I remember at least one or two that I remember being like, that was great.
The season finale, the fear hole. I love that episode.
That was interesting.
I love that episode.
I think there was one in the middle I really liked, but I can't remember. Let me see.
I'm trying to think like the meta episode. If they did like a meta episode, but like
was great. There was the one with like Story Lord came back. That was pretty funny, but I don't know if that was this season or not.
That might have been last season.
Yeah,
that was a really good one.
I think you guys should stop saying people who have 1 million credits, so I have to keep digging through until I find.
Just Control F. Just got Control F.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely the device I'm doing this on.
Oh.
Turning up on
you just trust us.
It is Beta 7.
Let's go. I watched too much Rick and Morty.
Incredible.
I'm not gonna guess my Venture Brothers one because I think that's wrong.
Yeah, I think like the Venture Brothers one. So in Venture Brothers, I'll just say this, but I don't know what it is. The name of the character. He plays like the rival to Billy Quiz Boy, which is like why you're like, oh, it kind of sounds like he does.
Yeah. And I thought it was like Billy. Oh my! Oh.
I don't remember.
I
have a guess, but it's got to be wrong. I have a guess, but I think it's wrong. I'm not going to do it until it gets desperate.
Are you sure about that? I'm not sure that's true.
Am I wrong? Is that not who he is?
That does. I'm looking.
I mean, I can't look it up.
Yeah.
I mean,
make that your guess.
The spaghetti episode. That was the one I liked from Rick and Morty from this season.
That's a great one.
That one was very good.
You specifically said that wasn't a guess. So
yeah, this doesn't count as my guess. I'm just saying, like, that's, I think, the character he played in.
That is not who he plays.
Oh, who does he play?
He's only in one episode. He plays Wonder Boy, one of the people in Doc Venture's therapy group for former boy adventurers.
Is Wonder Boy the one who was that not the guy who is Sunshine's guy?
Yeah, it is.
Captain Sunshine's. Oh, okay.
Oh.
I could have sworn he played a character that was like,
Yeah, no, that character exists, but he's not played by Patton Oswalt.
Yeah. Who plays him? I assume it's not somebody from this.
We're not.
I doubt it.
Yeah.
I guess I'm looking that up now.
Yeah, whatever.
Well, I don't know. I still have a number of ones that I am confident in.
Okay.
If I could, I have at least one.
Okay.
Well, it's still Nando's turn. He hasn't said anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This gets real dicey.
I'm trying to think of other Paul Rudds. He is in a lot of stuff.
I have two.
Stuff that's not even Ant-Man.
It's Augustus St. Cloud is just voiced by Chris McCullough, one of the creators.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
One of him and Doc Hammer, the other creator, who voiced approximately 2/3 of all the characters on that show.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's something else then. But I'm thinking of an earlier rival, not St. Cloud, because he's like he shows up at later seasons, right? I think
he starts existing in like season 4 or 5.
Yeah. Whatever. Let's go.
We will eventually talk about Ghostbusters.
Yeah. All right. Ghostbusters. Who else is in this movie? Excuse me. Paul Rudd. What is his name?
It's Paul Rudd.
He's definitely been Paul Rudd in some stuff.
And if you can name one of them, you guys get one Paul Rudd.
Oh, we each get one? Or we get one per actor?
I was saying per actor.
Oh. Okay. Then I'll do one of those then. I thought we were done with these. I'm pretty sure Camille Nanjiani plays a character named Camille in that movie, The Big Sick. Because it's about him.
Ooh.
I've never seen it, but it's like his
that's pretty insane.
Biopic kind of thing.
I am looking it up. Oh no, it is Kumail. I thought he didn't name himself the same thing, but it is Kumail. So
it's Kingo. He's Kingo in that too.
I'll count it. Yep.
Okay.
You've used Kumail. Kumail's off the board.
Well, wonderful. if we could do those, then if I go out like this, I go out like this. Isn't Paul Rudd in this? In This Is the End? Is Paul Rudd?
That is correct.
Yeah.
Okay. And now Paul Rudd's off the board.
All right. We did it. We went. It was blow for blow.
And we already did Bill Murray, right?
Yeah, we already used Bill Murray's.
Right.
I don't know how many more. I don't know if there's like a Dan Aykroyd, or
there has to be a Dan Aykroyd, but I don't know it because I'm not an old man. That's debatable. But
Ernie Hudson.
Yeah, I mean, Ernie Hudson's been in stuff. I just cannot remember.
Good luck.
He's been in like one other thing that I think we should know, but I can't remember what it is.
Ghostbusters?
No, something else. I could have sworn because when we did the other one, Congo or whatever, I made a joke and I was like, you don't remember all of his classic performances like in Ghostbusters and nothing else. And then I looked it up maybe later and I was like, oh, there is one other thing that I think maybe we would have recognized. Okay. All right. Oh, how good do I feel about this? I'm pretty sure. Okay. I could be wrong about this.
I'm waiting with bated breath.
What do you think? Yeah, I'm like, what are you thinking?
There's two names that are kind of similar, and I'm flipping between which one. I'm going to go with the one that I thought it was originally. But if this fucks me, then that's my fault. Because I bet there's easier ones that I could get. I bet he's been in some Pixar thing recently or something. Seen Elemental? No. These guys in Puss in Boots.
I'm on
Just go
tender
back to
hooks
movies
waiting
we've
for
done.
this answer from Nando.
What else came out this year? With Ninja Turtles, they already did that.
I'm trying to think of the one that you were between two on, and
I mean, it's just like they're names that are kind of similar, and I'm like, I remember the character that's the main, like the one who's the character that says his name, saying a name, and I'm pretty sure I know which one it is, but I don't know. I'm not positive enough, I think, to go for it without giving a second to think of a safe Paul Rudd. Or Kumail, but I do think we've kind of run the well dry on characters. Like, I don't know what the fuck his character in Men in Black, whatever is named.
oh,
Zippo Floorbon or some shit. But
oh my god, Zippo
I'm
Floor.
gonna
Yeah.
look that up, and if that's correct, I'll count it.
it better be.
If that's correct, Nando wins.
Yeah.
Like I concede. Like it does a TKO right in the chest.
Oh my god, you guys!
Zippo Floorbon?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah. That movie was very good. He is in a lot of stuff, but I can't remember any of it. I feel like I should have at least more than one Dan Aykroyd. Problem with him is like
Dan Aykroyd's hard.
yeah, and like some of the stuff he's in, it's like he's the Conehead dad in Coneheads, but
Yeah.
like that doesn't count. And I don't remember the character's I think I have like a very, very
He's
vague
an-
guess at his character's first name, but
He's an SNL a
Need
lot.
name.
all right. I'm gonna feel stupid if I get this wrong. Paul Rudd is in so many things.
But one of them is
All right. I'm gonna go with this one. And like I said, I think there's two names it can be. They're similar. And in my head, I'm gonna go with the one I'm slightly more confident in. I'm pretty sure Paul Rudd is in the movie Monsters vs. Aliens as the fiance / husband who breaks up with his wife when she becomes the 50-foot woman or whatever. I'm pretty sure his name in that is Darren or Derek, but I'm going to go with Darren because that's what popped in my head.
Because Darren Cross.
Because Darren Cross, that's right. Growing and shrinking. This was, this was before Ant-Man, but that is an interesting role for him in that respect. Because first he was against shrinking and growing, and then he became for it.
Paul Rudd is in Monsters vs. Aliens. He does play the fiance of the enormous 50-foot woman or whatever. His name is alliterative. His last name is Deedle.
Yeah, that's right.
And his first name is Derek.
It's the other one.
Which means
Damn it.
Nando
Hurts.
loses.
Ugh.
Wow.
That's a
Can I
shame.
give I had one other in the bag, and then I would have been reaching. You guys remember that time that Kumail Nanjiani was in Stuber
Yeah.
with Dave Bautista?
What's his character's name in it?
Stu.
Well, it
What's
doesn't
the name of
count.
the
It's in
movie?
the movie.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. We're not litigating this.
I mean,
not
it doesn't
litigating this.
matter because you
Yeah.
already won. I mean,
Also,
Nando
nobody
still,
remembers Stuber.
Nando still
Nando
wins
won, right?
overall because he got the
Yeah.
side.
Aw.
Yeah. I don't know why we did this because Nando won. This is the most ridiculous thing ever.
Because I don't want
Because
to
Nando
talk
won.
about it, but I did. Oh man, I feel pretty dumb. What is his name in Clueless? That's the one that was killing me. Is it Ben? It's a boring name,
Well, yeah, it's just a regular guy name, which are the hardest ones.
and she says it a bunch,
Josh.
especially near the end. Josh, yeah, okay. That was the only other one that I think I had a shot at, or that I was like, I know he's in this, and I should know the name of this guy. But it's been a while since I've seen that.
Anyway,
This is a hollow victory.
Anyway.
This doesn't feel good.
Oh yeah, he was in fucking Walk Hard. I would have had to guess which Beatle though. That would have been tricky. Anyway,
the actual summary on IMDb, which I think is okay. When the discovery of an ancient artifact unleashes an evil force, Ghostbusters new and old must join forces to protect their home and save the world from a second ice age.
New and Old was what got it for me.
New and old, you
Save
both
the
kind
world.
of had. You were the only one who mentioned anything about coldness.
Ugh.
That is important.
Neither of you
Oh,
mentioned
God.
ancient artifact. You both were like, "There's a big evil guy." And you said you didn't put it that way, but you said there's new Ghostbusters and old Ghostbusters, and they work together. But Nando mentioned that it was a villain who is going to make things cold. And DJ did not.
So I lose.
Yep.
I'm looking this up now. Apparently his character's name in Sausage Party was Darren. But I definitely don't know that. I haven't seen Sausage Party in years.
Too bad you didn't say Sausage Party.
So
do you think they were just going like through the like boring names book and they got to Darren eventually? Like eventually he'll be named all these characters because man, his names suck in these movies.
So I have a question because we did this for about, I think, over 20 minutes. Why did we do the tiebreaker if I lost anyway?
Because you guys wanted to.
So we just did it for the lulz?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's horrible.
Yeah. Well,
why do we do any of this?
I didn't want to.
Yeah, why do we make this podcast, DJ?
I enjoy the podcast, and I think it serves some odd purpose. So I wouldn't get that crazy.
Not in our lives.
I mean,
maybe in the listeners.
Guys, if I didn't have this outlet every week, my head would explode. So this is like therapy for me.
Yeah.
I don't pay for therapy, so I can do this.
Men will literally start a podcast before going to therapy.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Absolutely.
Actually, that one's too real.
That's a tweet that was probably the first one of these.
Yeah, probably.
I think. It's like the meme progenitor or whatever those are called. Yeah.
But yeah.
So Nando has to tell us what he thinks.
Yeah, Nando as our winner.
Because he won.
Well,
we did this stupid tiebreaker for
Nando as our winner. You get to tell us what you thought of Ghostbusters Frozen Empire.
I don't really like it. I think it's okay, but it's kind of boring and it's all over the place, this movie. It's so many parts of it happen and there's so many plots. And then by the end, the Frozen Empire guy shows up and we're like, the movie's over. I was shocked at how little movie was left after he showed up. All the stuff with Camille Angiani is stupid. All the stuff with the other Ghostbusters is no, I mean, I don't know. It's just like, I don't know. I don't care about any of the Ghostbusters stuff. I enjoyed the first Ghostbusters movie and I kind of remember the second one. And like, I understand the charm of them, but I don't have any of the, like love that has connected me to them that makes me dislike all the trailers. I don't have that. And on the other side, I don't have any connection to these new kids who are Stranger Thingsing and stuff. And the fact that this movie, even if you did like the Stranger Things kid stuff, they're not really doing that in this either, makes you kind of go like, well, what is this then? Because it's not that. And it's not like, it's kind of a classic Ghostbusters movie, but without, again, the same problem as the Kristen Wiig one ran into. It doesn't have that Ghostbusters wit or sense of humor that I think is what makes Ghostbusters work. Yeah, I don't know. I think this movie's okay. There's some parts of it I liked. There were the James Acaster parts. And I think there's a movie there that you could have just made. You cut out every character but him and Spider-Girl, apparently, and just had them bumble around on their own. I would have watched the hell out of that. Especially the parts where like he's doing stuff and looking at things and going like, see, okay, here's one thing I'll say. There were scenes where Dan Aykroyd, who I think was okay in this, is probably, I mean, better than Bill Murray, but like is going over like haunted objects and making bad jokes. And I didn't really like them. There's a similar scene a little later when James Acaster's doing that, and I enjoyed it because we haven't seen him do that before. And I don't know. I do just think the Ghostbusters guys have soured me on the Ghostbusters brand enough that seeing them in it makes it less fun for me. Now, to be fair, I enjoy Ernie Hudson. I hope he gets paid. And like, he seems like the coolest one of the three. And I guess the receptionist whose name I don't know.
The character or the actress?
The character. What's that character's name?
Something
Melnitz?
Something.
That's her last name though, right? She has a first name.
Oh, sure she does.
Right? Like it's not Deborah.
Janice?
Janice. Yeah. So like, good that she's back, I guess. I don't know. It's weird that guy's the mayor. It doesn't make any sense. And these movies don't make any sense together. They're all it's insane that they try to pretend this is one continuity because it's not. So yeah, I don't know. I didn't like it really that much. I don't have anything against it. I think it's a fine movie, but just like the Ghostbusters stuff doesn't work for me. And because of that, all the rest of the stuff tying this together is just kind of whatever. I don't know. We'll get to it, but I did like James Acaster. DJ, what about you? What did you think of Ghostbusters Frozen Empire?
I didn't hate it.
Yeah.
I didn't hate it. Like it's fine. There's a ghost and they got to go bust it. And there's some funny lines. I wonder if my expectations were in the basement, that I was like, yeah, this was like kind of fine. Like there was no AI generated Harold Ramis
that we know of.
Yeah.
Maybe he's in the background of that beach scene.
So
we'll find out.
I think that's a win, but it's pretty, like, it is pretty boring, but I didn't hate it. Like I thought I was going to hate it so much more, but I'm like, it's mostly okay. It's a little romp. There's I honestly liked a lot of the scenes with Kumail Nanjiani. I thought it was a lot of fun.
It was okay.
So like, I guess I bought into the cheesiness. I do agree with you though that the brand sucks.
Yeah.
Because it's been too like shit posted, like by the people in it, especially Bill Murray.
Yeah.
And like Ivan Reitman is dead and Harold Ramis is dead. And
the ultimate shit post, if you ask me.
He's
dying. Yeah.
So I just don't think there's like anything here. And honestly, I almost groaned audibly at like the for Ivan at the end. I'm like, he probably would have hated this.
Well, I mean,
it's not for him, it's for money.
That first one was for Ivan, the one he was in while he was dead in real life. That one, I don't think you get to do that after you've digitally brought him back to life in the movie before this.
No, not Harold Ramis, Ivan Reitman.
Oh, I always get them confused because they have similar names. But yeah, you're right. Was he ever in them?
I don't think so.
No. I mean, maybe he did a little director cameo. I'm not sure, but yeah, he directed the first one, and I think the second one.
No, you're right. Yeah, that reminded me of something.
But anyway, I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. I come out mostly like, that was fine. It could have been worse. So yeah, it's kind of where I land.
Yeah, I think I was also expecting worse for it as well. Like, I think that's the thing, is these movies are, you know what, I liked it better than the last one. That's the other thing I'll say. I think the last one was kind of dull, and this one was so much stuff happening constantly that I didn't hate it. But what about you, Diggins? What do you think of Ghostbusters: Frozen Empire?
I thought that it was bad.
Yeah, that's fair.
Makes sense.
Also correct.
I mean, I get what you guys are saying. It's like a relatively inoffensive kind of bad, where it's not like I'm watching it and having a miserable time or anything. It's just like nothing about it really works. They put in like a bunch of plot lines, none of which really go anywhere, or really make emotional sense. Either a person states a problem, nothing happens to change or resolve it, and at the end they're like, the problem's over. Or someone never even gets a problem in the first place and they're just fucking around with Slimer all movie.
Who? Slimer? He can't have been in this. I don't remember that.
We love Slimer.
He's from the boxes of the like drinks I used to have as a child.
The Ecto Cooler?
The Ecto Cooler, that's right.
But yeah, so it's pretty bad for that reason. I also don't care enough about Ghostbusters to want to see a bunch of melting old men relive their glory days on screen.
And Ernie Hudson.
And Ernie Hudson, who looks incredible.
Statuesque man who, will outlive us all. Who seems to be the portrait that Bill Murray looks into every night. Or he looks at Bill Murray every night and transfers his oldness to him.
Yeah, exactly.
It's funny because apparently Bill Murray's a jerk or something. I don't know his story, but we've gone back and forth on Bill Murray as a person culturally. I think the pendulum has swung to the other side.
Perhaps. But yeah, I do think it's not substantially worse than the first one, which I also thought was pretty bad. So I don't know why this one is getting the bad reviews that the first one didn't.
Yeah, I think I don't know what it is either.
I don't know. Maybe for some people the nostalgia works, but it only works once.
Did this one go woke in any way? Oh, it did go woke, actually.
We'll talk, right? That's got to be
every critic that didn't like it.
I have some arguments, but we'll see. So yeah, I don't know. It's not a good movie. I don't recommend watching it, but I don't know, if you have a child and you really want them to be quiet for 2 hours, you're not gonna like have a miserable time.
Gonna nail it.
It'll just be.
I also don't think a child would like this, though.
No,
right?
definitely not.
There's nothing for them.
No, of course not. Honestly, there were a few jokes that made me laugh too. Like, if I'm being completely forthcoming.
Mm-hmm.
So like, it's far from the worst thing we've ever done. I just A, don't think it's good, and B, dislike the trends it represents. So
yeah,
that's me.
It's a bummer because like I feel like been a couple of movies like that this year so far that I've been like, I don't really hate that, but I don't like it that much either. But we're gonna get a lot of those this year because we've got Beetlejuice coming out, another like, hey, remember this from childhood.
How dare you insinuate that solemn child's choir cover of Day-O isn't an amazing song?
Yep. Ooh. We got the Twister movie coming out, although I don't know if that's going to bring back what's her name from the original one.
I still don't. No, I'm not sure if I believe that.
Yeah, it's like, very.
Who has so much nostalgia for Twister?
I don't know. The trailer looked cool.
He was probably around when it like first came out.
I mean, listen, it's not that
we were around when it first came out.
Yeah, it's from the 90s.
We were like 2, but
it's a Roland Emmerich movie. It's from the 90s.
Yeah.
What is crazy? I feel like Twisters, I'm like, that's from like the 50s.
I see that because there were all those movies that were like disaster-y movies that turned into those rides at the Universal, like King Kong,
and I'm just like,
that were from the 50s, and then Twister. Yeah.
But yeah, Roland Emmerich, that's like right, of course.
Yeah, because it's like, who is it? Helen Hunt and Bill Paxton or Pullman, one of them.
Yeah.
I think it's Paxton. No, Paxton. Yeah. So he can't be in it. But unless they do a blue CGI ghost version of him, which you never know.
Oh.
It's never stopped them before. But yeah, those are fun. I guess. I don't know. This new one will probably be bad. But yeah, we got a lot of those this year, including I think the Beetlejuice one really scared me, and I'm quite concerned about that.
You should be.
I know. I like Beetlejuice more than Ghostbusters for sure. So yeah, it's gonna be a problem. But DJ, you gotta give us a summary for this bad boy.
Yeah.
I don't know. Nando lost the tiebreaker. Can he like one but do the summary? No. It's fine.
It's really okay. I'll be here to correct you for everything you get wrong.
People love it.
You monster. All right. Ghosts. They're a problem. So we have our new Ghostbusters. We have Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd's not wife. Or wife? Are they married?
Unclear.
I don't know. Yeah.
Whatever. And then the grandkids of Egon Spangler.
That's right.
They bust ghosts together.
You mean the descendants? The family that busts. A word they keep using for some reason, even though it's his child and grandchildren.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why do they keep framing it like that? I don't know.
Maybe the Bill Murray, maybe his character has kids running around all over town, and they don't want to say descendant, or they don't want to say like kids because it makes him look like an absentee father. So he's just like, I have so many descendants all over New York City. Makes him seem more cool and mysterious.
My descendants are running around everywhere.
Also, I just remembered
support their descendants.
I just remembered Annie Potts' character's name is Janine, not Janice.
No, Janice felt right. You convinced me.
I mean, it's only one letter off.
Yeah.
So they're busting ghosts together. The intro scenes them run around catch.
They say it in this movie. I didn't like it. These movies, man, they have seen these movies. Don't you believe it? They will tell you so many times.
Busting makes you feel good.
Yeah. But yeah, also I feel like the cold open of this movie is like something else. Isn't it like the Adventure Society all freezing to death or something?
Oh, that's
the cold open.
Yeah, get it?
Yeah.
Right. So it's 1900 New York, and they call the fire department because there's been a freezing in the Adventure Society where the big bad did his worst, but then he gets sealed up by a mysterious figure in like brass armor, and they get sealed up into a little ball. And that's the opening.
Pretty cool.
We're probably going to do some nonlinear storytelling with this, right? We didn't have to start in 1900s New York.
Yeah, and also we didn't need to see that. It didn't matter. Like,
yeah, it ends up. Well, I guess the existence of that one character, sort of, but we really don't need this.
I mean, when we see him and the monster starts coming out and asking who the Flyer Lord is or whatever, I feel like you can kind of put it together, especially when you go into his little room and it has all the stuff, including the old costume for the fire guy.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying it really doesn't matter. I am agreeing.
Yeah.
So then we get to the current day New York City, and the Ghostbusters are busting, and they cause a lot of damage. So then they have to meet with the mayor,
Eric Adams.
Yeah, too many ghost immigrants in this city. And they're like, we could put 15 Ghostbusters in every subway stop, please. That's the only way to solve this problem. The Ghostbusters are like, we think that's a little excessive.
If there was any mayor New York has had who would institute a Ghostbusters program, I do believe it would be Eric Adams.
Yeah, it would. 100%, as long as he gets to be a Ghostbuster.
Can I get the proton pack, please?
Yeah.
Please.
He'd fuck it up somehow. It wouldn't work. Would be that's what we need is a pro Ghostbusters mayor who like goes in the wrong direction with it. Like everybody in New York's running around with proton packs just blowing each other up. Why is everyone so hostile to the Ghostbusters? You seem to like them. They made a music video or something. I don't know what that was, but we saw it, so it happened in universe.
Yeah, it did. So did the cereal.
Yep, the cereal happened.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Probably the ecto cooler too, right? Like probably.
Oh, for sure.
So they have to meet with the mayor, is Gregory Peck. Is that the name?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's right. He's the actor who played Atticus Finch.
It's something Peck, though. I can't remember what it was. When he said it, I bought it.
Walter Peck.
Walter Peck.
There
Peck. You go.
Gregory Peck's name.
Yeah.
So they got me with Wally Peck,
Mm-hmm.
Who was Dickless from the first Ghostbuster movie. That whole joke.
That's right.
So that was fun. And he's like, you have a minor running around as a Ghostbuster? She's fired. The rest of you, whatever. I seem to be opposed, but go about your business. It's fine.
Yeah, he still hates Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
What is wrong with this man? Like, is it just the Dickless thing? Did that break his brain in, the 1980s? He's never been able to get over it.
I mean, I think if he was trying to establish a public service Ghostbusters, I think that would make a lot of sense, because if his problem is that you're a reckless, unaccountable private corporation, then it's like, Yeah, you know what? He's making some good points.
Mm-hmm.
Unregulated Ghostbusters.
Oh my God.
These Ghostbusters need is regulation.
That's what we need. That's okay. So we're going to pitch 8 Ghostbusters movies in this, but one of them is the shitty New York public Ghostbusters. And then they ever, because these were always this weird Reagan fantasy, right? We'll have like a bad Ghostbusters that's underfunded and like has bad proton packs. And we need the business Ghostbusters to come back and save us all. That could be the next one.
Privatized Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
That's the,
It's the only way we're going to get Ghostbuster innovation.
So, the girl's like a minor. She's sidelined. Oh no, it stinks for her. God, remembering the sequencing for this movie is impossible. So, I think as far as we know, the core Ghostbusters continue to Ghostbust.
Well, you mean the core new Ghostbusters?
Right, core new Ghostbusters. Okay. Paul Rudd and his wife and Mike from Stranger Things. Because he's 18.
He's 18 now.
He's 18.
So they bust ghosts. Meanwhile, Dan Aykroyd, who has enlisted the help of podcasts.
He's back, baby.
But he's not doing
and what's he doing?
Podcasting.
He's recording things. It's like podcasting. He has his equipment.
He's recording video.
Podcast later.
It's not podcasts at all.
God, how is there not a podcast that came out where if he fucking interviewed the characters from the movie in character that we could listen to? What is wrong with them?
None of them wanted to do it.
Yeah, that's fair, actually. That's actually pretty good. They shouldn't have done it then. What if they gave him money, though? They love that.
They do love money.
Yeah, I think you could have convinced him.
You could get 18 more of these before they die.
Yeah.
So, Dan Aykroyd and podcast started having a YouTube series where Dan Aykroyd tries to find like possessed objects or whatever. It's very silly. Kumail Nanjiani comes in and he brings in this orb that we see from the beginning of the movie, and he's like, that's some spooky stuff. And Dan Aykroyd's like, whoa, this is spooky. Whoa. So he buys it off Kumail, and we're to be given the idea Kumail Nanjiani is kind of like a bum. not like a bum, like a loser, just like a layabout.
Yeah, kind of like, I feel like he's like, at least in the first scene, he seems like a grifter, much like he is in his character in the Obi-Wan Kenobi show or whatever.
Yeah, right. Bring that one.
And I think he thinks he's a grifter until the movie decides he's not. But whatever.
First of the handful of laughs in this movie when Dan Aykroyd is like going off about how incredible this thing is, and Kumail Nanjiani just quietly goes 60.
Yeah.
Upping the price. Yeah, I like that.
That was cute.
That was good. Like I said, he was good in this movie. I liked him. So now they have that. Meanwhile, and this is gonna be out of order, but it doesn't matter because there's too much dumb shit. All these subplots. What's the girl's name? Like Penny?
Maddie? Phoebe,
granddaughter Spangler, is sad. So she goes to that part of New York where they just have the chessboards out.
And Washington Square Park at night.
Yep.
Play a game of chess.
Just plays a game of chess.
Yeah.
Chess.
DJ, you said that thing about the chessboards like that's not real. I mean, I wouldn't let a teenage girl go there in the middle of the night alone.
By herself at night.
And it wouldn't be empty, but that place does exist.
Sure.
Maybe she was trying to buy drugs or something. And maybe the show
just happened to play chess.
She has to pretend to play chess, but someone will have come up eventually and did a drug deal with her. Yeah.
Maybe that's what the Ghost was trying to do at first.
Maybe.
Never got around, didn't have time to get to it.
Yeah. What's that going to light, you know? Big joint, maybe. A ghost joint.
A jazz cigarette, because I died in the 20s.
Yeah.
So, so the ghost plays chess with her, and Phoebe's like, I'm not scared. The ghost is like, oh, it's so weird that you're not scared. I died in a fire, by the way. So that's that. And hey, I'm going to kind of, you're cool, right? And Phoebe's like, oh, whatever. And so that establishing scene happens. Let's pin that for later.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, while the new Ghostbusters are ghostbusting, they find out that their trap, like the ghost trap, is too small for all the ghosts.
The ghost containment unit where they put the ghosts after they bust them.
Yeah, because they just keep putting ghosts in there and nobody's allowed to empty it. And they're just like, I figured it would fill up one of these days.
Ghost jail. Ghost jail is overflowing. So Ernie Hudson's like, don't worry, we have new ghost jail. We have bigger ghost jail in this huge facility. And I got the girl from last time who was in Madam Web.
Yeah. Some sort of ghost specialist, apparently. I just thought she was a restaurant person at the place where Mike got our job in the last one.
She was the police chief's daughter.
Oh, okay.
So it's really deeply unclear to me how she gets to just be in New York by herself now.
Yeah. Even podcast.
I guess she's...
Well, he was like,
He
was like, my parents think I'm at space camp. I found this place on booking.com.
Yeah,
he explains
he does it. Yeah, he does at least give an explanation for how he can be there.
That's true.
Yeah. And then there's also like a British guy. Was he in the first movie? Because I still haven't seen it.
No, he was not. Oh, yeah, you haven't seen the first one. So a couple quick questions. So do you know what Ernie Hudson's deal is in the first one?
Well, they explain in this movie, which, again, one of the wheel slices, but I guess he's like a philanthropist who buys the fire station for the new Ghostbusters.
Yeah, when he shows up at the end, he's like, by the way, the Ghostbusters is a corporation with lots of money, and I'm in charge of it. And you're like, that's new. And then do you remember what Dan Aykroyd was doing? Or can you guess what Dan Aykroyd was doing in the last one?
Was he not selling ghost artifacts?
No, he was. They called him, I guess, and then he was like a guy who he wasn't like a big player in the movie, though. He just kind of showed up and was like, this is a ghost thing you're dealing with. Obviously, it shows up at the end because all the old men had to be there. But like, It is interesting how much those two are integrated into the group as if they always have been, because they're not real big players in the first movie.
Right. So now there's like a whole ghost like research facility, and it's all great. We got a new ghost.
The whole facility. 2 people appear to work there.
Yep.
Yeah. Right. So I'm trying to think of what like the next big thing is.
God, I honestly don't know.
So I think it's something with the sphere that the bad ghost is in.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly can't
Doesn't
remember.
James A. Caster touch it at some point pretty earlier in the movie?
So they bring the brass sphere there because
right to Ghost Lab, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they do some stuff on it, and it like shuts down Ghost Lab for a minute, and it's like, wow, this is incredibly powerful. We should be careful with it.
Yeah.
And also, one of the ghosts escapes. They don't know it, but right? Or does this happen later?
Well, this happens later, but this is the setup for how it escapes because it cracks the glass while the power is off.
Right. So that happens.
Meanwhile, Phoebe is answering a ghost busting call on her own, even though she's not supposed to bust.
Right. Her and Podcast, go to bust a ghost, and they go to a diner, and it's the ghost who played chess with her.
Yep.
And Phoebe can't bring it within herself to bust her, so she fails busting, and then later Phoebe goes back to the ghost busting headquarters, and the ghost goes, well, that was pretty savage, and Phoebe's like, no, I could have busted you, but I didn't because
and then,
I want to be your friend or whatever.
And the ghost girl is like, hey, isn't me the presence of a talking humanoid ghost who's intelligent and like not a weird monster really raise a lot of like theological and ethical concerns about ghost busting and like what it means? And Phoebe's like, no.
Not at all. It's fine.
We're just not going to get into that.
Well, she's also talking about like the rules of ghost busting, or like the rules of being a ghost that are also kind of new, where like you can't cross over or something, that are like stuff that other ghost media has talked about, but they don't really do in this. It's interesting.
Right.
Yeah. Except she doesn't know she doesn't really know what the rules are. Phoebe's like, maybe you got to do this thing. And she's like, I don't know, maybe.
Yeah.
Did we learn about the matchbook now?
The matchbook happens in the first scene with her.
Oh, okay.
We don't know.
She has a matchbook.
She just like flicks it around and stuff.
Yeah. So Phoebe's like, you want a tour? And the ghost is like, sure. So gives a tour, and then Phoebe, the ghost sees the ghost jail and is like, oh my gosh, that's a whole thing. And then eventually she just leaves. And then we learn, as the ghost is walking down the street, it seems like she's communicating with someone, probably the bad guy, and it seems like the ghost may not have the purest of intentions.
Wow, this ghost is a predator preying on a young girl. Because this ghost died, like she died in a tenement fire. She's got to be over 100 years old, and she's doing all this with a 15-year-old girl.
Apparently,
pretty sketchy.
But she says that she's 16.
16
she died at 16, but she has a conscious awareness of over 100 years.
Maybe you don't grow conscious awareness as a ghost. It's like Memento. I
don't know. This is just like with Edward and Bella, where it's like he's actually like really old, and this is creepy.
Yeah, it's like with what's her name from Shazam 2, where she's like, I look like a teenager, but I'm 6,000 years old, and it's like all the characters go, that's weird then, and the movie just doesn't do it.
But Diggins, they're just friends. There's no romantic intent whatsoever.
We'll get to it.
Meanwhile, I think what happens now is Phoebe goes to Dan Aykroyd and is like, Dan Aykroyd, help us figure out the orb situation. I don't know why. Is that not the next thing?
I don't know.
All right, we're gonna go with
the order of this really gets screwy.
Yeah, because none of it matters.
Yeah.
None of this has any bearing on what eventually happens, except for the glass getting cracked.
That's a really
point. That doesn't have a bearing on it either, because the only thing that actually has a bearing is Phoebe meeting the ghost.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
I guess Phoebe meets the ghost and then learns. Well, no, she hasn't learned about the copper thing. They do the copper thing though. Like they go to.
Well,
but why?
Yeah. So before that, so they go to Dan Aykroyd for Sphere for reasons and shows him a video, and in the video it's like speaking like this weird language. So they go to the library to meet Patton Oswalt, who's like an expert or whatever. And he has a bunch of like recordings of stuff. And he then brings up like the 1900 thing that happened that we see at the beginning of the movie. And then I forget what's the resolution of that. Oh, right. The possessor ghost like grabs the recording because the recording has the ghost on it because that was being recorded at the time. And then steals it and then possesses the lion in front of the New York Library. The Ghostbusters have to bust that. And I think that's what allows the mayor to like end the Ghostbusters.
Yeah, we actually forgot a bunch of stuff. So, because this just came to me. Remember how the ghost girl goes to the house?
Yeah, we talked about that.
I said that.
Oh, I thought you were talking about when you met her at the thing.
No.
I did both.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then, wait, did we do Camille Nanjiani stuff yet?
Well,
Not the X.
that's like,
I mean, I get that happens in here, I guess.
yeah, it's like, it's a meanwhile. So, so the stuff at the library happens, and then, I guess this does happen after, but whatever. And then the mayor, well, this is the dumbest part. The mayor says no more Ghostbusters, and it doesn't matter at all.
No.
Yeah.
Ghostbusters can still Ghostbust fine.
What do you mean?
It doesn't matter.
DJ, it matters because it means that later they have to get the new equipment that looks like from the cartoon. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Do you remember?
They would have gotten that anyway,
No, but
because
do
it was
you
better.
remember?
Right. Thank you.
Do you remember the cartoon?
Vaguely.
Ugh. So meanwhile, they get Bill Murray to study Camille Nanjiani because he's like reading spectrometer stuff or whatever. Like he might be something ghosted.
Because it's a reference to the first movie when he did the psychic test.
Yeah.
Right.
Because he's an Eternal.
Oh God! And basically, what we learn
Got the powers of fire or something.
this summary already is just awful, but long story short, we learn that he's like a pyromancer because he is the grandson of the original. Oh, I forgot the stupid ghost exposition. We learned from Patton Oswalt in the library that the ghost that is inside the sphere is an ice ghost that will scare you to death and freeze you.
Now, they say that's his power, but he
Yeah.
just has ice powers. Nothing
Yeah.
about it is about
Right.
scaring you.
Right. He was put away by someone called the Firemaster, which was Camille Nanjiani's grandmother and is now him,
Well,
it seems.
they were an order of people. It wasn't a single person. The Fire Masters.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
and his grandma was just a descendant of the Fire Masters, and so is he.
Okay, great. So he is training to become a Firemaster by controlling fire, because he can do that, apparently.
Just innately, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, meanwhile, to the sixth meanwhiles, the ghost girl meets up with Phoebe again, and Phoebe's like, I have a way where we could like be on the same plane together. So Phoebe, there's this machine at Ghost Lab that extracts ghosts from objects that ghosts are possessing, or like are imbued within. So Phoebe's like, I'll put myself in the machine. My essence will come out. I'll set a 2-minute timer. We'll hang out and not kiss.
Mm.
And then I'll get sucked back into my body. So she does this, but then the ice ghost possesses her to get her to say like the command word that will break the sphere, because the ghost can possess other ghosts but cannot possess humans. But if the freeze ghost possesses Phoebe while in ghost form, her human mouth will say the words to break the sphere and release the ice ghost.
And also, the ice ghost understood all this like hyper advanced technology that it's never seen or heard of before to deduce that this would be a thing that both could happen and would work.
And the ice ghost forgot about all the other times people in these movies have been possessed by ghosts.
I was going to
Living
say, yeah,
people.
also, I guess it can't possess a ghost that then possesses a person.
I guess not. Yeah, there's a lot of rules that don't exist that they're just coming up with as they go. And this is one of them. The ghost also has horns or something that are part of it. I can't remember what the
Well,
fuck.
he does.
Right,
He
so
doesn't
the-
have his horns at first because they were stolen,
Right.
but then he just goes and gets them as soon as he's free, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
at
he
all.
picks up his
Yeah.
horns and it's fine. So now we're getting to a final showdown where New York is becoming icy. and the Frozen Empire.
Ooh.
So we have a final showdown where all of our new and old Ghostbusters are at the Ghost Firehouse. The Frozen Ghost is coming to attack or whatever. Kill the Firemaster, really. Phoebe figures out, oh, this ghost is weak to brass. So I'm going to melt a bunch of brass and then make it a part of my ghost tech, and that's how we'll beat it. This more or less is how it plays out, with a couple of interruption steps in between. But it more or less works with the help of Phoebe, the Firemaster, and the ghost who uses her match to help the Firemaster win.
Yep.
They win, and the ghost who was friends, I put in quotes with Phoebe, gets to move on. And
why?
All the people.
Why does she get to move on?
I don't know, whatever.
Because she burned the ice ghost to death or something.
Yeah,
that was always her purpose.
Her from
As
going
her
to the other
unfinished
side?
business.
Yes.
That was her unfinished business?
Yes, burning the ice ghost. And now all the people love the Ghostbusters because they now somehow know the Ghostbusters were the reason they're good. So the mayor's like, yay, Ghostbusters, we love you. And then basically movie end. So
hey, don't forget A Girl Kisses podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah,
cool.
Right, Girl Kisses podcast.
That made it all worth it.
Yep.
Suggesting that podcasters are attracted to women.
If they do video stuff too, I guess is the rule though, right? Because he wasn't getting any action as the podcaster, but once you branch out, that'll work.
So yeah, that's Ghostbusters Frozen Empire.
DJ, there's one more scene.
Yeah.
Post-credit scene.
Mid-credits, but yes.
A truck gets stolen by the little marshmallow guys.
That's right.
Oh, the Stay Puft truck gets abducted by the little tiny Stay Puft marshmallow guys.
Yep,
yeah.
That was it.
I think that's the scene. That's what the AI would write about. Make a scene in these Ghostbusters movies. It's just two things Speaking of the car, which is in this movie.
The Ecto-1.
The Ecto-1. Speaking of the Ecto, what is it? 3 or what's the name of the motorcycle they have at one point?
I don't remember.
It gets its own license plate that's different. Speaking of all those things, they have wheels. Other stuff, is there other stuff with wheels in this? A Ferris wheel. That's about as wheel as it gets.
Damn.
Yeah. So there's a Ferris wheel. We're going to ride the Ferris wheel. You guys, everybody, let's just, what do we think of Ferris wheels? Do you guys like them?
They're fine.
Too high.
Yeah.
Really?
A little too high for me too.
I'm not a big heights person.
Okay.
Yeah. I also think they're just kind of boring. They're cool if there's stuff to see, but if I'm like a fairground, what is this? Well, look, it's the rest of the fair. I don't know. But you guys, there's a wheel with Ghostbuster things on it. We got to talk about them. I'm gonna spin the wheel and land it on one of DJ's is, I think, repeal child labor laws now. Or is it Diggins?
That's me.
Diggins. All right. So yeah, let's talk about that because that is something that is kind of part of it.
Yeah. So one of the most consistent conflicts in this movie, because it has a bunch of them and doesn't really pay a lot of attention to most of them.
Yeah. Some would say too many.
But one of the most consistent is with Phoebe, how she wants to bust ghosts because she loves busting ghosts and she thinks she's good at it. But at the beginning, she gets barred from ghost busting because she's a minor and they don't pay her.
Yeah.
And so that's illegal child labor, especially considering how wildly dangerous what they do is.
Mm-hmm.
All of which seem like genuinely very fair points for the mayor to be bringing up.
Yeah. I don't remember in the first chase scene where they fight a big dragon, she cuts a building in half or something, right?
She cuts
more or less.
a big swath through it. Yeah.
And this is the middle of the day. This is not at night. So if this was an office building, there were probably people in there. How many people do you think she killed in that scene? Several?
At least a few.
Probably.
Yeah. I have to assume a lot of people die in this movie in one scene, but I also think there's some other scenes where you can be some people died during that too. But
yeah, probably. I mean, what are they firing from the proton packs?
They're nuclear reactors. So
yeah, essentially
some kind of nuclear energy or whatever. I mean, it's protons, I guess, which are something. I don't know.
Cool.
Yeah.
Not great.
And this movie takes place in New York, somewhere where it is illegal to do child labor.
Yeah.
Not like in Alabama.
Not like in some of those states where they are repealing those laws.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like treated as a sort of like, oh, they don't take her seriously because she's just a kid. And I'm like, I mean, a lot of those kind of conflicts sometimes have a shade of like, they do have a point though, right?
Oh, yeah.
But this one is like, don't illegally have your child work in the family business for no pay, and also it's wildly dangerous and will probably get her killed.
Yeah.
Like that's I struggle to empathize with her position on this one.
Yeah, it's fair.
Well, it gets at what I think is maybe my second biggest problem with this movie, which is like logically and like nitpicking, which is what are the Ghostbusters today? Like, what do they do? Are they an important public service that busts ghosts? And at that point, why don't we hire adults to do it? Why is this still a family business?
Right.
Like if it was fires, if they were the first fire department that ever existed, and it was like, oh, you and your son and your new husband and then your daughter are the firefighters. And then we stopped this daughter. You figure you'd replace her with someone, right? Like there would be another firefighter that would take that job. But they're like, no, you can't do it.
They seem to imply that none of them get paid to do this. And I'm like, Winston doesn't give you anything. You just do it for the love of the game.
He's too busy with his lab.
But
his lab is all the money.
Yeah, and I mean, this movie's like, it just doesn't. I think what the first Ghostbusters does really well is it decides what the Ghostbusters are. They're exterminators, whatever. This movie does not do that, and if it did have to, none of it would make any sense.
I mean, I think this would have its own ideological problems, but would make the movie much more internally consistent and better. I feel like it should be like an Iron Man 2 situation where the reason they're the only Ghostbusters is because they have proprietary technology. No one else knows how Egon's stuff works.
Right.
And so what the mayor's trying to do is not shut them down, but like confiscate their stuff so they can learn how it works and make like an actual public Ghostbusters.
Mm-hmm.
And they're trying to be like, no, it's our stuff and you can't have it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This makes less sense with that for sure, but that is an option. I feel like, what is the alternative? I guess it's like the R stuff you can't have it thing would be like it's too dangerous for just anyone to use, but it's like you're just fucking guys.
Yeah,
right.
You're a seismologist, a single mom, and 2 children.
Yeah, I remember Mike had trouble getting hired at the local restaurant in the last one of these. Stranger Things kid, like he had to get his girlfriend, who he hasn't checked in on in a while, I guess. She had to like help him. So
it's not clear if they're actually dating or not.
Yeah, I mean, definitely not now. If she is,
yeah, right.
He's a horrible boyfriend, but also this kid sucks. Like this kid, I like the actor, but like this kid has nothing going on.
Well, yeah, because the movie doesn't give him anything except his ongoing feud with Slimer.
Yeah. Who looks great. So happy to see Slimer back. I remember him.
Yeah, God, man, him and Ernie Hudson, they've both aged so gracefully.
They really have. It's like, I don't think it's fair that they do Slimer in this and he looks cool, but then all the other ghosts look stupid. You know? You guys know how to make a cool looking ghost, right? That looks like a real thing. Instead, they all look like little blue Force hologram things. Why not do Slimer versions of these guys? That'd be cool.
Only one who looks cool.
He looks pretty cool.
Hey, you know what they say about slime people? The slime don't crime.
Slime don't crime.
Slime don't crime.
And it's not a crime. That's why you can't arrest Slimer for eating pizzas and stuff.
It's not his fault.
He's not doing anything illegal.
Yeah. I do think we kind of get at this in the first one of these because the mom, DJ, one of the things you didn't know about the mom from not seeing the first one is she's kind of an alcoholic.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
It's
a lot of jokes about that.
Yeah, it's a big part of this first movie. And in this movie, it doesn't really come up except for that one scene where she's just going through TikTok on the couch and she's like, you fucking deal with Slimer. I don't give a shit. And I'm like, wait, are we doing that again? I thought Paul Rudd was good and that like fixed, but I guess not.
Yeah, she was honestly kind of a bad mom in that first one. Like there's some ways the movie knew she was a bad mom, but there were other ways in which the movie did not really acknowledge it.
Yeah.
Did the move from Oklahoma to New York like fix her?
Oh my gosh! If only,
Is
if only New York fixed people. That's not what it's known for.
Hey, it may not fix you, but it makes you worse in interesting ways.
That's true. Yeah, gives you character. Oh yeah, I don't know. Like the Slimer shit, man. What's going on?
Shit's probably green, I would assume.
I mean,
yeah, that's what he's spitting out of his mouth.
Yeah, is that what he's, or does he like sweat the slime out of him? Because he like creates slime when he like goes through something or someone. I assume that's coming out of like his pores.
Good point.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's like his innards, and it just because he's going through you get a bunch of his innards which stop becoming ghostly when he goes through you,
including the poop.
Including that, yeah, that would be in there somewhere.
The poop does come from the butt.
Now, ghosts don't eat things usually, right? They don't seem to.
I mean, how much do we want to rehash the what even is a ghost in the Ghostbusters debate?
I mean, they keep adding new stuff that doesn't make it any better. In fact, makes it worse. Because especially this little girl really fucks up the whole ghost thing.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there was Egon in the last movie, but the addition of fully human, intelligent ghosts is just like really calls this whole situation into question.
Yeah,
it's true.
That'd be funny though if they did, because the movie treats them traditionally like they're exterminators, and just one of the things they're exterminating is just a guy, like a person, a human being. Then that's fine. Throw them in the little furnace, whatever that is. Still,
just the same thing as cops.
Apparently, yeah. It's also weird. You know what else is weird about this? She has so many like memories and stuff, and she could do ghost stuff. She should be crushing it, you know? Like, what has this ghost been doing? I kind of figure
playing
if you're
chess with people and then scaring them.
Yeah, and I kind of figure if you're a ghost, you have like no brain or something. Like you're just kind of really drifting around, but this one has total, like she's got it all.
Well, and when did the bad ghost corrupt her? Like, when was she bad from? You know what I mean?
I'm gonna say from jump. I think it has to be.
Yeah, I would assume because it seems like the ice ghost can talk to other ghosts freely while it's in the orb. It just can't do anything else. So I'm guessing when he did the PKE in the first, where Kumail brings the orb for the first time.
Right.
I'm guessing his like big shockwave that he sent out included a call like, yo, any ghosts out there want to go back to the other side, hit me up.
Yeah.
That's exactly how it went down.
I do think it'd be funny if if we don't see like any other attempts at this, but if that was what was happening. Well, I guess if that's what was happening, then she met the ghost before they put the thing into the PKE meter, right?
What? Why do you? How so?
Like, if we're saying that when they tried to, when James A. Caster gets his hand frozen, like that scene is the first time that ghost is able to communicate with other ghosts.
Oh, no, I was saying Dan Aykroyd with the PKE meter would be the first time.
Oh, when he scans it for... Oh, I see. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Because then, then I like a version of this movie where the ice demon from the 1900s or whatever is like, well,
from like the year 4000 BC or something.
Sure, yeah. But at least the most recent time it's been out is the 1904 or whatever. If it's just like chilling in its little corner, like, here's the plan, we're going to get the most impressionable of the Spanglers, the little girl, and here's what I'll do: hunky guy ghost number 1, hunky guy ghost number 2. And after 50 of them, he's like, what is wrong with this child? There's something I just don't understand. I'm giving her all the men she could want. This is not working. And then they never got out because it was not progressive. It wasn't woke. You know, but
well, it is a very old ghost.
Exactly, 1900s. Things were different. I mean, they weren't different, but
not where it's from.
They seem different. That's the last time it was out. It's all those adventure guys, and it was like everybody's still just men to women. Yep. And then it went back to sleep. Somebody threw it in a little ball.
That's exactly how things were in ancient society, and it's not a relatively modern thing to have really against that.
That's right. Now, speaking of that, it's something we'll again landed on somebody's "Don't Say Gay." That's
Also,
Yeah, so this is what we're kind of getting at.
yeah.
Here. So, like, this is, I mean, maybe this is just me, but the whole relationship between Phoebe and the ghost, Melody, who, by the way, sidebar, I really feel like there's a lot of hints in there that she gave a fake name and her name's not Melody, but it never comes up.
Yeah, because that's the name of the diner.
Yeah, the diner that she has the matchbook from.
Yeah.
That's
So,
true.
like, that seems like it's supposed to be like oh, she was lying. That's not her name, but I guess it is. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, the whole thing about that has like these romantic undertones, and it feels like you're supposed to be like, oh, she wants to kiss this ghost.
Nah,
and in fact, the plot doesn't even really make sense if that's not what's happening.
Mhm.
Because why else would she want to like go to the plane where she can touch the ghost if she didn't want to do big kisses?
Yeah.
Because to shake hands, to embrace.
Well, yeah, that's what
Mm.
I'm saying. Like, if you just want to be friends with the ghost, then like touch is nice, but it's not a vital part of friendship. Whereas if you want to be a little bit more than friends, I guess it's still not vital, but it's a much more active part of the equation.
What are you implying, sir?
She wants to fuck that ghost.
Wait a second, but Slimer can pick things up. Why can't?
Shh, don't worry about it.
Why is this ghost unable to do that?
Well, it can because she plays chess.
That's true.
But I guess humans can't touch ghosts.
I guess not.
I mean, also everything this ghost says is a lie to get her to do this stupid thing. So maybe they can. Maybe
that's true.
ghosts can fuck you. I mean, in
Well,
the dream,
of
that
course
one
they
ghost
can.
gave Dan
Yeah.
Aykroyd the blowjob.
Without a doubt.
Oh no! If
We're
only
back.
she'd asked Dan Aykroyd about this, he could have
Yeah.
told her.
No.
Well, maybe that is what Dan Aykroyd did. He like put the PKE meter up to his head for a couple of minutes and then, passed out and was able to get the ghost blowjob and then came back to life.
How
The
does this keep
autoerotic
happening?
asphyxiation of ghosts.
DJ, this is important to the plot.
Yeah.
How does
It
this
is.
This actually
happening?
opens up a plot hole. We know ghosts can get down and dirty with humans.
Mm-hmm.
So why does Phoebe need to make herself a ghost?
I don't know.
But does Phoebe know that?
Phoebe should know that, considering she's the nerd and also the Ghostbusters are somewhat public figures.
And also,
Unless he's
that
been
part wasn't
embarrassed to
public.
tell anybody that.
I don't think Dan
Dan-
Aykroyd was like, I got a ghost blowjob.
Absolutely. This
I don't
character? Yeah, 100%.
Dan Aykroyd feels like the irresponsible uncle who would tell you inappropriate stories.
Yeah.
Like ghost blowjobs.
I guess
Like
if
ghost
anything,
blowjob.
maybe Bill Murray would be like, yeah, you could get ghost blowjobs. I get them all the time. And everybody like, you're full of shit. And then no one would believe anybody that says that. Whereas Dan Aykroyd is just like, well, I don't want to seem like a loser like my friend, so I'll just stay quiet.
Right.
Or maybe the ghost was like, hey, don't tell anybody about this. This is a fun little loophole me and you can exploit, but we will not, we'll never do it to,
Never
otherwise
tell.
Bill Murray will start asking about it and it'll be a whole thing. So
Yeah, that's true. But anyway, yeah, so like it doesn't make sense if it's not a romantic thing, in my opinion. But it's written just ambiguously enough that it can safely be shown in Russia and China.
yeah,
Yeah. It's true.
even though China hates ghosts, right? Like that's a thing. Ghosts and
really?
magic have sometimes gotten movies banned from being shown in China. I think in this instance it would be okay because it's like stupid. But I think if it's like borders on being like, oh, magic is cool and Satan is cool, then I'll let you show them.
Yeah, the Chinese are famously very concerned about Satan.
They hate him. We're big fans in New York City, though. We see a guy and we're like, you're big and tall and got horns. You're the new mayor, sir. Sorry.
I think he would have a decent shot.
Yeah.
I mean, if he can make sure that there's no more New York summers, I'd vote for him.
And he's tall, and that helps. Bill, what his name, was very tall.
Yeah,
Remember
Bill
him?
de Blasio.
Bill de
Yeah.
Blasio, yeah. And Michael Bloomberg, not so tall. Look what happened to him.
Yeah, he was a short king.
Guam. Or American Samoa. That's where he belongs.
Yeah. Forgot
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it just feels almost like a relic of like 15 to 20 years ago when movies were like, I don't think it's safe enough to have a character be gay, so we're just gonna sort of we're gonna have a close friendship with a sort of interesting tension to it. But all the people in the Midwest can safely ignore that and not read into it at all.
Y'all know what we're talking about.
Yeah. I think you're right. That is what it felt like. But maybe there were scenes where they like made out and then they remembered that this ghost is 1,000 or something. And we're like, we can't have him do that actually.
This ghost can't kiss an underage girl.
Yeah, they saw the reaction to Shazam and we all went, well, not anymore. There was a time, but the time has passed. We can't do it anymore.
Do you think any part of that was going to happen, was in the cards for them to have a lesbian ghost, whatever?
I mean, they basically do it. So I feel like it must have been in the cards.
Yeah. And I don't know anything about the actor, but I doubt the actor's like a young person. I bet they'd be cool with it. So then the question is, would Sony or whoever made this movie be cool with it?
I don't think it's Sony.
It's not. I think it is.
Is it?
Yeah, they made Madam Web. So,
that means they made this?
Yeah. Well, who else is it? Because it's not Warner Brothers. It's not Disney. It could be, I guess, Universal.
There's only 4 companies.
Who owns Columbia?
I don't know.
Is it Paramount?
I think it's Sony.
Okay.
I think it might be Paramount, actually, now that you say that.
No, because we'd know from Paramount Plus commercials without a doubt. Let's see. Production company's Columbia. So, yeah. That is Sony Pictures as well, but it seems like Sony Pictures is maybe a distributor or something.
Who owns Columbia?
Is a member of the Sony Pictures Motion Picture Group.
Yeah,
a very non-confusing name. But anyway, yeah. So they're cowards, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
They won't make their little girls gay.
I mean, yeah. That's fair. Mm-hmm. It's weird that they did that with her. And not the boyfriend or the son who's already been a little horn dog, Have him be the honey potted by the ghost kid.
But he's not smart enough to figure out how to make himself a ghost.
Yeah.
The ghost told him he would do it. In fact, he's stupid enough to convince. Listen.
We were all teenage boys.
Absolutely.
If a hot lady ghost said that I'll suck you off if you go into this ghost making machine, we all would have done it.
Oh my God.
I would have gone into the ghost making machine the second anybody left the room with the ghost making machine because I wanted to see what it does. I don't even care about any of the sexual stuff. I'd be too curious to not accidentally turn into a ghost. There's no way you could leave me alone in the room with the ghost making machine and I wouldn't be a ghost. Without a doubt.
Insane guy.
I saw Danny Phantom. I want to be a superhero. And then I'm just like a spirit in hell for whatever. I don't know how this works. Nobody does though, so it doesn't matter. But
but also this movie seems to imply that because of the Ghostbusters, they empirically know that an afterlife exists.
Yep.
Which is messed up.
It is messed up. Because ghosts go to
become
jail.
a part of the universe is the conclusion that we have.
I guess, yeah, that's what Phoebe thinks, which would be the same thing as there not being an afterlife.
I guess the idea that Egon can come back is a little bit... Because I guess Egon might have had unfinished business in the last one with the whole...
yeah, he died trying to stop Gozer again. So, yeah, his unfinished business was that Gozer was still going to come back.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I'm surprised he didn't come back in this one.
Again? They're going to use him again?
When they did the chest thing, I was like, fuck, they're bringing him back.
I thought when all the old men were trying to pull the switch down, I was like, oh, he's going to show up and then help pull the switch down.
That. If there's a wheel slice about this, stop me. But I love that the justification for the presence of literally everybody besides Dan Aykroyd, who I guess sets up the technobabble thing, is that they can all work together to pull a lever.
Yeah. I mean,
with the power of old men's strength. Old men's strength will be how we get through this.
Also, we've seen him. Ernie Hudson was probably doing most of the lever pulling.
Yeah,
right?
He's
got actual muscles. Yeah. The other guys were there. I don't know. I mean, I guess
you want him jacked. It's fucked up.
Yeah. I spun the wheel again, you guys. Landed on realistic New York City mayor.
Oh,
on
my
DJs.
God. Yeah, Wally Peck just comes in and eviscerates the Ghostbusters.
Bullshit.
bad. We hate you. We need real cops on this. You're criminals. We're gonna get you out of this city. And I'm like, they captured it. Just every New York mayor sucks.
Now, DJ, I have a counter argument for this, actually.
You do? Oh, let me hear it.
Because the Ghostbusters solution to the ghost crisis in New York is essentially mass incarceration.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's no way a New York City mayor wouldn't be in favor of that.
That is true. Tricky.
He should, in fact, instead of Winston being like, I've built a new research center, when they're like, we've put so many ghosts in ghost jail, we can't fit any more ghosts in ghost jail anymore. Walter Peck should have come in and says, great news, guys. I've opened up a ghost facility on Rikers Island.
Yeah.
We got plenty of boys ready to torture all those ghosts. We don't need to torture them. They just want to do it.
Yeah.
They're pretty game.
In fact, they said if I didn't let them torture the ghosts, they wouldn't do it.
Can you imagine being Walter Peck running for mayor and then these guys show up again? There were no Ghostbusters for a while, I assume. Like a 20-year, 30-year gap where there were no Ghostbusters.
Yeah, and apparently New York City was fine in all of that.
And Walter Peck was not a guy that seemed like he would run for mayor. He was an EPA guy. He was not like a, regular old politician.
Yeah.
He was more of a, technology, whatever you call those guys.
Technocrat.
Technocrat, yeah. And then he gets promoted to mayor for some reason, even though I also think he would be quite unpopular in the city of New York, right? Like, he would be that guy who the Ghostbusters made look stupid that one time.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how much you remember Ghostbusters 2. The premise of every Ghostbusters movie is that the Ghostbusters have collapsed and stopped being a thing since the last movie.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
Presumably, if their public reputation went into the toilet, then he would be the hero who tried to stop them.
Which, I guess that is the case. Then, he ran for mayor, is the mayor now. I assume
40 years later.
And I assume most of his mayoral platform was like, I'm the guy that fucked all over the Ghostbusters. Like, unless he did other EPA stuff, like turn Central Park, fix Central Park, or like other, I don't know, environment. The Hudson River's clean now.
One would have to assume in a 40-year career, he did some other stuff.
Yeah, and then that's even worse.
Maybe the Ghostbusters thing was just like a thing that would come up on Jeopardy. Like, this mayor of New York City was once most infamous for this paranormal incident. What is the Ghostbusters crisis of 1984? That is correct.
That time they made the Statue of Liberty come to life?
Yeah, there walk around.
Ghostbusters, like anti-Ghostbusters propaganda on the TV. Yeah.
Like, these movies make no sense. Even like the from 1 to 2 doesn't make any sense. And then from 2 to Afterlife makes even less sense. Because this, and like spin the wheel, catch up exposition. Let's talk about some of the exposition. But yeah, like there's the scene in so DJ, for another thing you probably didn't get from watching this one that maybe came through is that Paul Rudd was the science teacher or something at the high school.
Got that.
Who was also a Ghostbuster super fan who like recognized her and some Ghostbuster stuff in his class. Was like, oh my God, the Ghostbusters? I love those guys. They used to be people. And he pulled up a YouTube video and then watched like a clip of something. I don't think it was like this where they watched a clip from the movie, but like they watched like an old Ghostbusters commercial. Yeah.
I was gonna say, I think it was the old commercial from
That's what it was. Yeah. And so he's like a fan of them as if they are, like a one-hit wonder band from the 80s.
Sure.
Yeah. They literally talk about it like, oh yeah, there was all these ghosts in New York a few years ago.
Yeah.
Just like, no problem. Nothing.
Yeah. Yep. And yet, whenever anybody in these movies is like, there's ghosts in New York, everybody else goes, get out of here. There's no way.
Yeah.
No one seems to care about these things.
You liar.
Yeah. Which, again, in any other political climate, I'd be like, in this, I'd be like, yeah, maybe you could convince people there's no ghosts anymore,
Mm-hmm.
Like,
right.
We just got to open up businesses. Otherwise, everybody's just going to get ghosts.
Do you think that ghosts aren't real is a central part of Donald Trump's platform in the Ghostbusters universe?
Perhaps.
Oh
yeah.
My God.
Marjorie Taylor Greene's tweeting like pictures of Slimer being controlled by guys that are puppeteers and green screen. It's like, there's not even a real Slimer, you guys. He's fake. It's like, shit. She's onto something. That's smart woman. But yeah, let's talk about some of this exposition. This movie's mostly
So I love this because it felt like it was for me, right? So beginning of the movie, they had like Paul Rudd explaining what happened in the last movie. It's like, look, I was just a teacher in Oklahoma teaching you were in Oklahoma. I found you through like whatever. And then I married your mom, and then, we became all friendly and stuff. And I think you're cool. And now I'm part of the family. And then also we were possessed and we turned into dogs, and then we had sex and it was really cool. And,
I forgot about that.
They talk about how they boned down while they were possessed in front of her daughter.
And I don't know what the problem is.
Yeah.
So weird.
It's
so
pretty weird.
So weird.
I mean, when you were talking about catch-up exposition, I thought you were going to talk about the part where we watched them do Ghostbusters, the movies 1 and 2. And like,
yeah.
Because I kind of treated this Afterlife and this and Frozen Empire as like movies that existed in a universe where the Ghostbusters kind of existed, but not the way you remember them from the movies, where it's like there were Ghostbusters, but like people didn't cheer when the Statue of Liberty walked down the street. It was like something else. And this is the version of the story they would tell you. But apparently all of that did happen. And they even did the music video with what's his name, which really blew my mind.
Yeah.
And like that really doesn't make any sense. Right? Like,
oh God,
it's weird.
Yeah, every Ghostbusters movie should be a new movie, because there's no solid continuity from one. Like there is, but there also isn't. Like a lot of stuff gets ignored, especially
because we keep having to bring back all the old men. Like if we didn't do that, you could just make a new thing. But then, and I guess we did that with Ghostbusters 1, or like whatever, the Kristen Wiig one. They tried to make a new thing and that didn't work either. They were still able to bring back the old men for that.
All those people on the internet got really mad about it for some reason.
for some reason. Well, because
I can't pinpoint why.
There's the catch-up exposition that is like what happened last movie.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's this other catch-up exposition of everything that's happened since Ghostbusters 2 to like now.
Yeah.
Like the line where it's like, oh, all the copper wiring was stripped from the firehouse in the 90s by vagrants or whatever. Because Mayor Adams didn't have a strong enough hand.
I mean, these are the Giuliani years too, which means like crime was
cracking
rampant.
down on that stuff.
Broken windows policing, and then this is what happens.
Fix everything.
Yeah.
So it's just funny how like the movies try to thread everything together, but there's no way to do it cleanly because it makes no sense.
Yeah, because these movies are barely internally consistent, let alone consistent with each other. It's simply impossible.
Yeah.
I guess it's only a problem for me because, I mean, it's a problem for me for two reasons. One, because they showed us the music video. And it's like in that Godzilla movie where they watched the movie Godzilla in the, you know what I'm talking about? We must have talked about it when we did the Godzilla movie. It's the one from the 90s where in the beginning there's a scene where like Jean Reno is talking to an old man, and this is an old man's like Godzilla, and that's like that scene. And then later they watch security camera footage, and it includes the editing from the scene we saw. It's like you guys are just watching the movie in the movie. So like that's part of what is weird about it here. The other part of it that's weird about it is just like if you didn't do that, if you just took the Ghostbusters lore that exists in universe, you have an interesting setup for a movie where these guys were public figures that people did like and are coasting on it or something, or like for whatever reason ghosts are something that no one believes exist anymore. But just like do that, like have a ghost propagandist have ruined the whole ghost thing. And like it's weird how these movies both really lean into their continuity so that they can look at the toys and sell the toys and stuff, but at the same time refuse to integrate it into the story in an interesting way, because there's so many. But I guess the other problem is there would have to be some sort of reckoning where an adult Ghostbusters fan who owns all the Ghostbusters equipment is the bad guy or something, which I think is what they did in the Kristen Wiig one. Right. Like that has to be the natural endpoint, is someone wants to preserve the Ghostbusters for history in a way that is destroying the, fabric of space and time. And to do this, we have to kill Bill Murray or something. And like the fandom would never allow it, but it's definitely the movie that these movies are dying to tell.
I mean, I think you could go even simpler just be like, so like ghosts stopped showing up, and everyone over time became convinced it was a weird hoax that these Ghostbusters guys did. And then it turns out that like whatever evil thing is happening that they have to stop has been like collecting all the ghosts or whatever. And that's why there hasn't been. Just incorporate it into the plot of the movie why people stopped thinking that this was real.
Yeah. I mean, and if you really want to get like kind of, I think this would be, I think you could do it with all what you said, but if you wanted a more magical explanation, just one of the ghosts can do that. You know, we have the forget-me-not of ghosts that can alter people's memories into thinking ghosts aren't real.
Yeah, that's good.
And then, you know, and then it becomes a movie about a conspiracy theorist who's like a Ghostbusters truther who's red pilling everybody in the real universe. But this is a universe where the Ghostbusters happen. So
because those are the real heroes, conspiracy theorists online.
Yep. Yeah, like, yeah, these movies, I don't know. There's that is the thing with them. They're just kind of dull compared to all the other things that they could be. But you know,
well, because what more can it be than we have to go after the ghost of the week, right?
I mean, and you can make the ghost of the week more interesting. I guess that's another option, but
impossible.
Yeah, I guess it is this. Like, there's no meta awareness with this property because the Ghostbusters as Ghostbusters that sold toys exist in the Ghostbusters universe. Like, let's do that. Like, let's make that something. Make an evil Ghostbuster. Have like, you know, I don't know. The toys came to life and tried to kill everybody or something. I don't know.
The fifth Ghostbuster.
I was about to say that.
Yep.
I was about to say that.
Yeah.
Who could it be? Some jilted. Oh my God, Wally Peck.
Wally Peck
was once a Ghostbuster.
Make the evil ones from the cartoon. Make them the evil ones. Like the one in the wheelchair or something, and they all turned evil. Or make like finally decide what the fuck Slimer is. Make Slimer the bad guy. Because
CGI Harold Ramis is the evil villain who's going to destroy them.
I would be so proud if this franchise did that. Because it would have to be such a choice. And they would never make a choice like that.
You finally make really a choice.
Funny. Yeah.
Finally.
Just Harold Ramis walking down Fifth Avenue, kicking New Yorkers, telling them go fuck themselves. I'm a ghost now. Ghosts are cool. Like, people suck.
Breakfast sandwiches are better on rolls than bagels.
How dare you? Wait, no, that's right. He'd be right about that. You have to give him the wrong opinion.
No, get out.
You're out of your mind. I mean, listen, we've all seen. I'm assuming you're referring to the video that was going around this week of Mike Trapp and Izzy talking about this on, or if he talked about this on Actually.
Yeah, the most LA opinions ever born.
They're both from at least I know Mike Trapp lived in New York for a time. That's the right opinion. It's better on a sandwich. The bagel overpowers the flavors.
You're saying.
It's
the bagel complements.
It complements them the same way that like, you know, Shaq and Kobe complimented everybody else on the Lakers. You just like don't even realize they're there. Take all the air out of the room.
Get wrecked.
Yeah, because American cheese is such a subtle flavor. There's no way you can detect it with a bagel.
It's just too much. It's too heavy for a sandwich. I'm 100% with them. I mean, I'm not a huge bagel guy though, so that might be part of it. I would like to get rid of them personally.
Just get rid of bagels?
Yeah, no more bagels, please.
That's insane. That's an insane take.
You're not a real New Yorker at all.
It is like that. I think I just think anything I've ever eaten on a bagel, except for just cream cheese, when I would just want an excuse to eat cream cheese, although I could just eat cream cheese out of a little can, that would have been fine. I've enjoyed better on a croissant or a roll than I have on a bagel.
Now you're completely lost.
Yeah, I've never been like more out.
There could have been some people who have never had a good bagel who agreed with you about the first thing, but this is crazy.
That's the thing. I've had a good bagel, and I know that they're not that great. They're good. They're tasty. They have an interesting taste, but for sandwiches, for all the things we use them for, they're like not the best option. And I hate to tell you guys that Slimer would not agree with me because he has no taste. He just eats whatever. So, you know, nobody in this movie would know for sure. Does anybody eat anything in this movie besides Slimer?
Oh, think so.
I'm trying to think if the mom had anything. Did the shitty mom eat anything?
Right. Podcast. Was he like eating?
The podcast.
Like Joe Rogan energy drink or whatever.
The mind pills.
Yeah, what's his name? Was Dan Aykroyd not wolfing down that vodka he sells?
No,
Probably not though.
In the crystal skull.
Yeah. I don't think. Nope. I guess the marshmallows weren't food. They weren't being eaten, but they could have been.
Yeah, nobody ate them.
Maybe James Acaster was eating some.
Not on screen.
Yeah.
They like roasted each other.
They do kill each other. It's weird. Those things are weird in the other one they're from. I would say maybe watch that scene because it's so dumb. Because Paul Rudd goes to Walmart and looks at all the Walmart products and then looks at the little Stay Puft guys. But they're also like all trying to kill each other constantly.
Yeah, it's like, what's your deal?
Yeah.
What are you trying to accomplish?
Yeah.
And also, they're manifestations of Gozer who go away when Gozer dies. So it's why are they here now?
You would assume.
Like, how are they still hanging out?
Apparently they're not. Speaking of that, I spun the wheel again. Oh.
I was just going to say, I do like that podcast implies that they have sex.
Yeah, podcast is cool.
Oh, God.
It's a very
horrible.
Yeah, I mean, but I guess they can have sex with each other.
Yeah, because they have sex with each other.
They're a little
and
marshmallows.
reproduce.
Yeah.
Well, could it be like reproduced by budding?
Nah, they've definitely got sexual organs.
Yeah.
Oh God.
I think so too.
I think that unlike the Na'vi, Stay Puft Marshmallow Men are placental males.
Ooh.
Placental mammals.
I was going to say placental males. Now you're talking. What is that?
Yeah, we
diagram,
get that
please.
Mpreg in here.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Galactus Mpreg, please.
Oh, stop! We're done, right?
Speaking of the wheel, I landed on something on the wheel. How do you do, fellow kids? Speaking of that, Diggins. Let's talk about the kids.
So, I mean, the kids have I feel like Patton Oswalt also gets some of this.
Yeah.
There felt like a lot of dialogue where a screenwriter asked their teenage child, like, what's some slang I can put in here that the kids use? Where,
the kids.
Like, Lucky has a bunch of lines like this, where she'll say, like, God, I'm trying to remember some of it.
There's some real bad ones at the Camille scene. At one point, they're looking at like a little Kama Sutra painting or something, and she says, I'm pretty sure, part of me is like, well, it can't have been this. Nipple play. That's tight, or something like that.
No.
I think it's actually worse, Nando.
I think that's the line. What is it?
I think she says nipple play iconic.
Iconic. That's right. That is what it is. Yeah.
God.
Mm-hmm. And then there's other lines like that in there where they're talking about bondage stuff in the little like room. But the nipple play one really stuck out to me as like, what? Like, I guess he's 18, so she's 18 by the laws of movie. But like, that's still pretty weird to be talking about like that.
Now, another sensible chuckle I got out of this movie is when they kept insisting her secret brass room was a sex dungeon.
Mm-hmm. Would a sex dungeon have all these chains and stuff?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it would have.
As soon as I said it, I realized.
No, it's pretty good. I agree, though. I like Kumail in this movie. I think he's pretty good in it.
He's good.
Yeah,
he's legit good.
His character is like totally pointless and doesn't make sense, and I don't like it at all. But like, he's just a funny performer with good delivery.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, sometimes good actors just act, and that's fun, right?
Yeah.
Especially in something that's supposed to be a comedy. Having a person who's good at delivering jokes can just be, can really help.
Yeah.
I'll say this too. Speaking of actors who deserve credit, even though, well, not speaking of as if Camilla is this, but I thought Bill Murray was okay in this, even though, he's Bill Murray. I thought the scene where he was doing the test with Camille, he had some good little jokes or little like reactions.
He sure was there. I'll say that.
They did a good back and forth.
Yeah. I like that the test is dumb because sometimes the ghost will just say, I want to eat a baby or something. And if you could get that out of the way real quick, might as well.
I mean, I couldn't tell if the test was dumb or if he was intentionally doing stupid things to make him mad.
I don't know. Yeah, it's hard to tell.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell with Bill Murray because he's got such a unaffected performance.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, the fellow that bit was really weird where she talked about nipple play. Ugh.
Yeah, but
it was terrible.
Like, iconic, and then Patton Oswalt being like, they're a bunch of gross colonialists who like,
were
still all into orgies and shit. And I'm like, okay. I mean, I'm not against shit talking a bunch of 1900s colonialists, but
obviously
it just doesn't feel like the way this character would say that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
So I don't know. The weird thing is it's not like throughout the movie. It's contained in a few scenes, but there's some of this dialogue that just feels so off.
I do think there were other things that Madam Web said in this that also felt kind of weird, but I can't remember what any of them were. But like, I want to go back and watch this again, but like that's, and I don't really, but like I'll have to eventually. The scene where she's introduced to the boy, and he's like, "You're here." I can't remember what she says, but I feel like it was weird. But maybe that's just like residual Madam Web, like affecting the script.
He's something like, that internship was here, and she's like, "Oh, you guys brought him. The reason I didn't tell him I was in the city where I knew he was."
Yeah.
Which is the energy. It's not what she says, but that's the energy, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I guess that's right.
100%.
Yeah, it's weird how you get grandfathered into being a ghost hunter in these movies, or you're James A. Caster. He somehow got an application.
I could be wrong about this, but I'm reasonably certain in the first movie, nobody ever says her name out loud.
Oh, I don't know.
I
never saw it, so I don't know.
Yeah, I remember when Nando and I did the podcast on it, I was like, I looked up this character's name because nobody says it.
What is it?
It's Lucky.
Oh, right. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, that's possible. I know they say it in this because everybody has their little shirts. Even Podcast has Podcast on his shirt.
That was the only reason I knew her name, because she wore a jumpsuit that said Lucky on it. And I was like, I guess that's her name?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this movie has way too many characters, but that other one did too. It just had fewer. And it's like, still, you can go even lower than that. 3 characters. Let's try one of these.
Or, well, 4. Let's go with 4.
Let's try. Yeah, 4 is fine. Speaking of 4, I spun the wheel again, landed on one of DJ's Forged in Fire Kitchen.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I love this so much. So I had earlier mentioned about how Phoebe learns that brass can defeat the ghost for whatever reason. So
I think this is a thing kind of from like mythology, right? Certain metals like beat certain things, and I think brass is one of them.
Oh yeah, that's not the problem.
Yeah. No, yeah. No, I get where you're going with this.
So let's get all the brass, and then in the fucking kitchen, she like turns a cast iron, whatever, pot on, and then throws in a bunch of brass, and then gets like a teeny little blowtorch, and then just has like molten brass in her kitchen,
and then pours it onto her ghost equipment, coating it somehow, even though it's like little fancy technology. It's not like a big ghost sword, and that is apparently works with all the circuitry.
It was amazing, just truly amazing how stupid this was. I loved it. I loved it.
I think this. Now, I did look this up, and brass has a lower melting point than steel, but it was still felt insane that she was melting brass in a steel pot that was completely unaffected.
Yeah, so much smoke would be billowing out of that thing. It would be gross.
It would have started a fire.
It would have been. Yeah, also, you're right. With the brass melting, it would have been a toxic atmosphere. She would have died. She would have poisoned herself and died.
Wait a second. They had a blowtorch, right?
Yeah.
Why didn't they just use that to kill the monster?
It's a great point.
That seems like it would be super...
a little ghost match? Why didn't she bring the blowtorch with her?
Yeah. Like even he was there when they did the metal stuff, because he shows up late kind of to the big fight with his small Zippo lighter. Yeah. Right. And it's like, it seems like if he didn't use up all the gas in the Zippo lighter, it would have worked. It just doesn't because he's been practicing too much. Yeah. Use the big fire thing instead. And then maybe the Zippo lighter is like a backup. But
that's really good.
Other thing about this scene that I really that got me, and I wasn't sure if anybody else was confused about this. Do you remember what brass things we see her use to do brass stuff?
The fireman's pole, because it's emotionally charged. Because you, the fan, love the pole so much.
So much. You love it so much.
Except In the next scene, Kumail Nanjiani descends on the pole. Like, he comes from upstairs slowly on the fireman's pole. And I'm like, I saw her saw that thing in half. It's not there anymore. So what happened?
Now, I did have this thought also.
Mm-hmm.
Firehouses do typically have more than one pole.
Okay.
So
that
it
makes
is
sense.
within the realm of possibility that she simply used a different pole.
I guess that's what it is then, because like nothing else makes sense, except for that the pole can regenerate itself with magic.
Yeah, because the whole firehouse is magic.
Yeah.
Did you guys like when Annie Potts looked into the camera and said, "We didn't just buy the firehouse because of nostalgia"?
Yeah.
I'm like, I think you did.
Yeah, you did.
Don't lie to me.
There's a movie there, Annie Potts. Let's, just ignore it. But yeah,
don't you dare lie to me.
The ghost.
Also, another thing about this ending scene that I was like, what the fuck is this? Is the possessor ghost almost murders Stranger Things kid with a proton pack.
Oh, yeah.
But then Kumail, with his firebender powers,
yes,
can control the beam from the proton pack?
I guess it's a fire beam.
Does that count as fire?
Apparently.
It can also be frozen by the ice ghost, which also doesn't make any sense. Because if it's like a laser beam, it's like light. How are you going to freeze light?
Yeah, I don't know.
We got a lot of this is a lot of bullshit going on in this movie, and it's hard to reconcile a lot of it.
Yeah, if the movie didn't treat so much of it like science, I wouldn't mind. If there were scenes where someone just went, I don't know, it's fucking magic, let's go do ghost stuff. But they always try to be all clever with it, and none of it makes any sense. And it always directly contradicts whatever the last thing was.
Yeah, it's true.
I spun the wheel again, landed on one of DJ's. This is the Liar Master.
Oh, it was like Kumail Nanjiani's character, right? Like, he's this grifter guy who's supposed to be the fire master, but he's such an I felt so torn. He's such an unlikely hero that it kind of works, even though it shouldn't. I don't know, because at the end he's doing it right. He's fire bending and beam bending, and he's doing all the right things, and it's not very believable. But for me, it worked. I really liked it.
I liked him too.
I like I said, I don't really like the character, but I think Kumail Nanjiani is a good performer, and he did some jokes that I liked, so I'll forgive it.
Yeah, that's fair.
One thing I want to say about the Fire Master title here that stuck in my craw during the movie.
Your craw?
Yeah, my precious craw. So the evil ghost knows that the Fire Masters are what defeated him last time.
Yep.
So the evil ghost goes to a vape shop called Fire Master and is like, "Are you the Fire Master?" And then kills him.
Yeah.
But also, immediately after that, the evil ghost goes to Kumail's grandma's apartment and gets his horns, which he knew were there and knew where the apartment was, suggesting that he was aware of everything that was going on outside the orb at the time, which means he knows who the Fire Masters are already, and why is he killing this random dude?
And you would have to assume he knows all this stuff, because I would assume the little girl is telling him stuff. If they're working together, I'm sure he asks her, hey, by the way, where are the Fire Master? And he's on 125th or whatever. And then they could get that information from her. So...
Or if the idea is he's hunting down the other Fire Masters, you can be like, "Who are the Fire Masters?" She's like, "What? I don't know what those are. We don't have those."
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Yeah, I don't know. That is a weird thing that they do. It's almost like that's a joke that was in the first draft of the script, but then when they started doing some more of this Kumail stuff, they were like, "Well, we don't have that. That joke doesn't really work anymore." But it's so funny that we had to keep it. It kind of feels like that.
Right.
It's unfortunate that they thought that.
Because they were so wrong.
Yeah.
Was not one of my handful of laughs.
Yeah. I like Kumail in this too. I think we got a little too much into his superpowers, but I think his whole deal here was fine.
Oh, speaking of having good comedy performers and my handful of laughs, also enjoyed when Patton Oswalt is like, we have all these cool wax cylinders. This one's Mary Todd Lincoln saying, fuck. Apparently she saw a moth.
Yeah, what was that?
I don't know, but it was funny. It made me laugh.
That was weird, but
that was something else, man.
Mm-hmm.
That was something else.
Yeah. Also, I spun the wheel and won a DJ's red Skybeam. We did get a red.
Oh, we finally got a red Skybeam.
Yeah.
No more blue Skybeam. It's got a red Skybeam.
An ice Skybeam.
The Skybeam in the last one was red or blue.
Oh, I don't remember either.
Watch it.
I mean, I have it here. I can check, but it could have been any color. Like
it could have.
It was. You know, a lot of the times these movies have like colors associated with how things usually work, right? Because like the proton packs are kind of a red, I would say.
Yellowish, orangish, reddish.
Yeah, so I could imagine if at some point someone did like proton pack stuff and that made a big sky beam, it would be that color. But I don't know. Let's see. I mean, to talk about the sky beam a little bit, a lot of people died, right?
Oh my gosh.
Definitely.
Yeah.
That girl who's like the whatever her name is, little
Melody?
Not Melody, sorry, her too. But now I'm talking about the main one. What's her name? Phoebe. When she's like, because she let the ghost out and she was tricked and she's talking to her family and she's like, I'm so sorry, I didn't know. And they're like, it's okay, it's not your fault. It is your fault, kid. Like,
yeah.
These deaths are on your hands, at least partially. Especially because you're supposed to be one of the smart ones.
Yeah, well, the funny thing about the ending to me is like they're like the Ghostbusters have a great reputation now because they saved the city, and I was like, they saved the city from a problem that was 100% their fault.
On them.
Yeah.
On them.
I mean, nobody knows that, so I guess they were able to keep that secret.
But like that's the thing is that's not true of the first movie. The whole Gozer plot was a pre-existing thing that they find out about and stop.
Right. And the EPA guy makes things worse. Like they would have saved it if had it not been for him screwing up the organization at one point. So like, yeah, they're totally blameless.
Yeah, whereas in this one, like if someone had shut down the Ghostbusters and stopped them from doing anything, that would have prevented this problem from ever happening.
Yep. Yeah, and even if Dan Aykroyd just wasn't doing his little ghost show thing, we would be fine.
Yeah.
Because this only happens because Camille is doing his thing. Also, I looked it up. The sky beams in the other movie, purple.
Ah!
That's like red and blue.
It is like red and blue.
Color diversity.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Why doesn't the big freeze ghost go in for the kill at any point?
Doesn't wanna.
It doesn't feel like it.
Yeah. It has most of the people in the firehouse dead to rights and just gets the icicles close, but never goes in for the kill.
The most insane one is Lucky when it first breaks out.
Yes.
Who it like he like freezes her and like totally could have just killed her, but it's like and leaves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then she's
can't
just
be bothered.
fine. Even though being frozen alive would also kill you.
Yeah, I was convinced that was what they were gonna do. Was like in that scene, I was like, oh, they're killing her. Okay. That's something. But then they didn't.
Then she has a blanket in the next scene, so it's fine.
Yeah. The what was I gonna say about that? Well, in the Ghostbusters villains usually do have a little bit more going on, so that like, you know, Vera the Carpathian or Gozer do like talk to the Ghostbusters. This one this monster is just a monster. So like, if it was a different thing where it wanted to, you know, monologue and annoy the Ghostbusters, that would make sense. But yeah, it doesn't want to do that. It just wants to freeze everybody.
Yeah.
And it has like, it's weird because it has ice powers, right? But it also has fear powers, fear-based ice powers.
Does it?
But it does it. Yeah.
That.
I know. Everybody on that beach was really afraid when they saw it getting super cold, I guess, or something.
I mean, you would be scared if icicles came out of the beach ground in the middle of the summer, right?
Mm-hmm. And right as one pierces my skull, I would be very scared. I don't know if if the ice ghost would chalk that up to fear, but I guess maybe. Yeah. How is this?
That's how the legend started. They're like, oh, you freeze because you're so scared. It cold chill freezes you. And he's actually just freezing people. And then someone else shows up. He's like, they got so scared, I killed them. Oh, easy. I'm scary.
Now that I think about it, how is this movie? Okay, so it's about kids. it has a bit where there's a ghost there's one character who's like cool with ghosts, and there's no character in this movie that's like scared of ghosts, which is weird. But even so, there's a ghost that kills you by fear, and there's no point where a character has to like get over fear to beat this ghost or something.
No,
like,
not at all.
Be brave. It's so weird that that's not there, and I don't think we needed it necessarily, but like that's why you put that kind of thing in as a rule for how the bad guy works.
Well, brass is similar to the word brave.
So that's true.
When you think about it, that did happen.
That's a good point.
It's clever.
Did this movie make money?
I'm not sure.
I don't think it made a ton, but I don't think it made none either.
I don't think it did super well, considering it was very poorly reviewed.
Yeah, it looks like the budget was about $100 million, so that's not cheap.
It's not bad.
Oh wait, no, that's Ghostbusters Afterlife. Sorry, Frozen.
I was gonna say that's not bad in today's ridiculous climate. That's an insane amount of money to spend on a movie.
But fair.
Yeah. Ghostbusters, Frozen, Empire. Let's see, box office. I do think there's like diminishing returns for this brand. There has to be, right? Like they can't make that many of these. Kids don't like them, do they?
How many toys are they making? How much money off toys are we
eventually
netting?
They're gonna have to be done with them. But I don't know. I'm surprised they haven't done a new cartoon about them, like the one from their 90s.
That'll be the moneymaker.
Yeah. So it looks like currently it's made about $50 million domestic. But then overseas, it doesn't look like it's opened very big. So I'd say maybe 60 million. So it's got a ways to go before it makes its money back.
Oof.
Do you think there'll be another one?
That's tough. Because they love money.
They do love money.
So it'd be hard for them to say no, given how much they love money.
Yeah.
I'm going to say yes, based on the money. Show me the money.
I think so too.
Yeah, probably.
Do we think if an original Ghostbuster dies, that will be the thing? Right? Like Bill Murray dies and like we got to make one more in his honor. And then it says for Bill at the end of it. And he comes back as a ghost in it. Like dances around to Garfield.
I super hope not.
Here's a question. Is there a character who you wouldn't mind seeing spun off, besides podcasts? Someone else who you wouldn't mind seeing spun off and like seeing their little journeys?
Obviously, we would all pick podcast if we could.
Mm-hmm. Obviously. But like, yeah, is there a world where the Dan Aykroyd show is just its own thing and it's him like doing paranormal stuff with the kids?
Maybe podcast super hate it, but I don't know what the appeal or draw is the problem, right?
You can have the
I don't know why I'm continuing to watch. You know who I would watch? I'd watch the Adventures of the Fire Master.
Yeah.
I'd watch that all day.
Feels like he's got kind of one thing that he ever can do, and it's kill the ice ghost with fire powers. But like maybe he could do other stuff, like put
now
fires
he has
out.
Powers. Maybe now he grifts with his powers.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
He doesn't follow with great power comes great responsibility.
He convinces people he's a Jedi instead of a smuggler. So
if
he never gets caught, he'll be executed instead of arrested.
Those are good.
Perfect, guys.
Those are good movies.
I'd like to watch the adventures of Patton Oswalt's character weighing in on tedious debates about, dead languages and various translations thereof.
Did we talk about that one line he had? Is like the upstairs library is just for show, just for failed actors who are Twitch streamers and buying crypto.
Yeah. Oh,
what was that line? Why did they sideswipe all that?
The movie's bad, so that's why the line is there.
Yeah, that's another one of those lines that I think goes in with "How do you do, fellow kids?"
Yeah.
Just taking out Twitch streamers and crypto bros.
Yeah, I mean, listen. Crypto bros and Twitch streamers, very different groups, right?
Yeah, I can't.
There's overlap.
There's overlap, but every crypto bro is annoying. Not every Twitch streamer is annoying, sometimes Twitch streamers are cool, but
every VTuber is annoying.
VTubers for sure, and crypto bros. If you want to prove that you're not annoying, send us crypto monies. Send me money, money, not crypto money.
Tell me how to get it.
Yeah, you do the conversion stuff yourself. Yeah, I think there's space for James A. Caster's show. I really like him and stuff. I don't think he's even bad in this. I expected him to be bad, but he's good. Dick, you're familiar with him, right?
I know of him. The only joke of his I've ever watched is how he lost a girl to Mr. Bean.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I don't have a problem with him in this movie. I think he's fine, but I don't know, his character was kind of nothing to me.
See, my thing with him is he just looked like a Ghostbusters character, like someone from the cartoon in real life, and I like that about him.
I believe I read that is literally why they cast him.
Yeah, good.
I love that.
That's what they should be doing. Just cast people that look like cartoon characters and more things.
Full cast-a-type.
Yeah. He's I mean, besides being a very famous British comedian, I know him like from that stuff, and also Taskmaster is kind of he was on one of the first seasons, if not the first season. He's quite good. But I was kind of excited for him to be in this, but then I was like, oh no, he's gonna have like one scene where he's like an annoying guy at a museum who gets eaten. But then he was in more of it than I expected. Other question, is this movie woke?
Yes.
Now, hold on, DJ.
Yeah.
It is.
Don't be so quick to answer.
Okay.
Because first of all, it's a movie about how we should repeal all child labor laws.
Okay.
And let the children work in the mines.
I'm going to say, I'm going to stop you there. I think the children fuck everything up in this movie. And if anything, this movie is a case for getting children as far away from ghostbusting as possible.
Right?
But then it ends with them being like, Phoebe, you get to be a Ghostbuster. Hooray.
Well, that's because they all got ice-based brain damage or something when their brains froze and they forgot all the stuff that happened earlier. Like they little comas.
Finn drive the car for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he is 18 and presumably has his license.
I feel like that's a car that needs a special license. You know?
Yeah, right. A Ghostbuster.
Class D or license. Class G, I guess. Probably for ghostbusting.
I just mean like letting your adult son drive a car. Well, I guess teenage son drive a car. Versus let your even younger teenage daughter operate nuclear weapons and perform dangerous labor for no pay are very different things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I guess that's true. But so there's that. What else?
They refuse to confirm gayness.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not woke. Old people are important. That's not woke. I had another one. I suddenly can't remember it.
I mean, Black Ghostbuster. That's not woke. You know, she gets to put on an outfit and everything.
But that's like baseline. That's like baked in, right? Like,
yeah, that's from the 80s, which means it's okay.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about Ernie Hudson. I was talking about the new girl, Lucky or whatever.
Oh. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, like young nipple play, apparently. You know, Ghostbuster kid.
Do you think she and Stranger Things kid did any...
Stop it. Stop it.
I mean, like, I would say yes, except they have no chemistry. So I'm going to go with no. But, you know, I don't know. Walter Peck is proven right once again. So.
Diggins.
Woke.
Lesbian romance.
If you say so.
Again, they very deliberately never actually explicitly make it a romance, which means you're free to ignore it and say they're just good friends.
Female protagonist. That's woke.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel
also,
I feel like the climate changiness of it doesn't really work, but it could have been it.
Yeah,
they like make there's like one line that's like maybe this is about climate change, but then it just isn't.
Yeah.
I remember now. Yeah, it was a point I brought up earlier. The correct solution to the problem is mass incarceration. Not woke.
It's true.
So this movie isn't woke.
I don't think it's woke. I think it
really.
Well, yeah, I think it's easier than that. I think the woke version of the Ghostbusters movie is the one from 2016 that didn't respect the Ghostbusters brand the right way and for all the fans. And this is the one that does, where all the Ghostbusters come back and put on their little outfits and high five each other and jerk each other off, and then like that's the whole movie. So
here's what I think, DJ. I think I understand your gut reading. So this is what it is. It's the like base level grifters who just like do whatever will be like the new Ghostbusters woke and talk about all the stuff you said. But then the Ben Shapiros of the world, after it's successful, make the videos where they're like, actually, if you really examine the themes and messages of this Ghostbusters, you'll find that it's actually quite conservative. Let's say, for example, that there is a character who is actually straight and is only good friends with this ghost, because there's never ever actually any scene where they express romantic intent for each other, and it's impossible for anything to be anything other than explicitly stated. If it's not explicitly stated, it's not true. That's just screenwriting 101.
That's right.
Which if you've seen Lady Ballers, you know that he believes that.
Mm-hmm. They should make that for this. Like these guys should make a Ghostbusters movie. The Lady Ballers guys, like make the conservative wet dream Lady Busters. Yeah. Ghost Ballers. Terror on the Ghostbusters.
So yeah, it's like it would get some of them to say it's woke, but I think the ones who are really deep in there would go with anti-woke.
Yeah, I think so too.
All right, then I'll take that.
Is nipple play woke or anti-woke? That's the real question. Because this movie is very pro.
As long as the woman remains bone dry, it's anti-woke.
Yeah, as long as you can't see the nipples on Instagram, I guess, then it's anti-woke. Well, I don't know. I think we'll be doing another one of these in like 3 years. I think we're getting Ghostbusters 3, but then maybe that'll be it.
Yeah.
And that's what we deserve.
Agreed.
Yeah. Do you guys want to get to our classic segment?
Yeah.
I would love that.
DJ, would you like to recommend anything to the fine people?
Yeah, I want to recommend a couple things. One, I watched the documentary on Max, Quiet on the Set.
I've heard that's a real feel-good watch.
The like Dark Side of Kids TV. If you haven't heard about it, which I know it's everywhere, but it's essentially about how Nickelodeon in the 90s with like All That and Amanda's Show and Drake and Josh, how Dan Schneider was just like the worst human ever, and ran a very toxic work environment and probably damaged a lot of kids, and kind of goes through that. And it's a real bummer, but it's like if you grew up in the 90s watching that shit, it's crazy. It's crazy. They got some of the former All That cast members, like writers and director of the shows, to kind of talk about what went on, and it's nuts. It's nuts. And I know they're releasing another episode with more Drake Bell stuff. So I'll be interested in that, because I know there's a lot of stuff with Drake Bell, but it's hard not to feel like really bad for what happened to him, because it's like some really heinous shit. But it's an illuminating watch, and it's crazy, and it's a downer, but it's compelling. So that's one. And then the other thing I want to recommend is Helldivers 2, which I started playing. Fun extraction shooter. The premise is kind of amazing. So your Helldivers are like these warriors who take part in the galactic war as warriors for Super Earth, because in this version of Earth, fascism has full-blown taken over. And it's like...
Yeah, it's just in that version.
Yeah.
Yeah, just that version.
So like it's like a year, 2 years in the future? Cool.
But it's like all of Earth came together once aliens invade. I guess like OG Watchmen comic premise, kind of.
Well, not quite what's going on in that story, but...
I mean, well, that's... All right. Well, Earth is unified into Super Earth, and more or less it's like fascism is taken over. But you get to be a Helldiver, an amazing warrior who gets to spread democracy throughout the galaxy, killing bugs and robots. Gameplay is an extraction shooter, so you go in with an objective, collect materials and stuff, complete your objective. Gameplay loop kind of goes like that. Leveling up, getting materials. But it's fun. And what's interesting is like the landscape of the Galactic War is always changing, so developers are always having kind of different territories being taken over by the two warring factions, like the other two enemies in the war. And it's like a lot of chess pieces that are moving at once. And like that's the interesting part, is that the game is always evolving because the developers kind of always tweaking what's going on based on how the players are doing. And that's fun. It's like a little live service. Like, so it's, you pay, the game's like $40 and then you could pay that and be good and play. But then there's like equivalent of like battle passes and stuff like that that you can buy into. But you don't have to. So it's nice. So it's not like a subscription model. So there's that, but it's a lot of fun. And I've been enjoying it.
Does this game have Luna Snow in it?
It does not.
Oh,
I hope they add her. So.
Yeah, she could be one of the robots or something. She could be in charge of them.
But yeah, so it's Helldivers 2. Those are my 2 recs. Diggins, how about you?
I watched a couple movies since our last recording sesh. The first one was a newish movie called Problemista.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
is it good?
I really liked it. Yeah, no,
nice.
I was a big fan. So this is the first feature film by Julio Torres. You might know he used to be a writer for SNL. He co-created Los Spookies on, well, it was HBO when he did it. He's just this really funny kind of like surrealist, magical realist sort of sensibility that I really enjoy. And he brings the same sort of thing to this movie, which is sort of, it's like semi-autobiographical about a character played by him who is immigrated to the United States and needs a job to maintain his visa because he just got fired. And so he sort of ends up working for this insane person who's trying to preserve her artist husband's legacy and like showcase his paintings, played by Tilda Swinton. Just absolutely unhinged performance from her. And it's like a satire that's sort of about all this, about, you know, the ways the immigration system are just like completely, you know, Kafka-esque and like dystopian and just like set you up for failure. But it's honestly more about kind of being an artist and how it's this really like hard and like to really be a working artist is like an insane choice in the society we've set up. Like to be someone who really is dedicated to their craft like that, you have to be difficult and insane. And that's kind of not a bad thing. And I really liked it. Like, I think the way it gets at that point is so interesting. And I just, and it's also just incredibly funny, because he's a really good comedian, with a very deadpan sense of humor, which, again, works really well in this movie. So yeah, it's kind of had a weird cycle where it was supposed to come out last year, got delayed because of the strikes, sort of came out this past month, but it's a little hard to find. It might not even be in theaters anymore by the time you're listening to this, but if you can find it, you should definitely watch Problemista, and if not, then it'll probably be on VOD soon. You should watch it then. The other movie I watched is, you guys remember in Space Jam 2 how everyone was like, Warner Brothers, you refused to release that one movie from the 70s, so why did you put the nun from that movie in this in Space Jam? Well, that movie is currently on the Criterion channel, so I decided to watch it.
Oh.
Is it weird?
Yeah, it's called The Devils. It's from 1971 by Ken Russell. And you know what? I don't see what the big deal is. As far as banning it, it's a really good movie, actually. I quite liked it. But I've seen worse in terms of the wild stuff. So the basic idea is it's a fictionalized telling of the fall of Urbain Grandier, who was a priest in France in the 1600s, who during the French Wars of Religion, tried to preserve the independence of the town of Loudun, because they were like one of the only places in France where the Catholics and Protestants were like, you know what, we're just not going to do this, and just peacefully coexisted. But the Catholics won the French Wars of Religion, so like, got to get those Protestants out, my man. It's kind of about that. It's also kind of about the nun who is at the convent in the town, who has developed insane sexual fantasies about him, because she's so sexually repressed that she sort of goes a little nuts, and his political enemies like use her as a way to accuse him of witchcraft, like, you've bewitched this woman and you visited her in the night from your pact with the devil. So it's kind of about like the cynical ways religion gets used, and sort of the absurdity and horror of that, but it's also, you know, all about sexuality and repression, and it's also about watching a bunch of hot young women playing nuns doing an orgy scene.
Oh.
Which I think is one of the big scenes that got this movie in trouble. They really do that. Yeah, they're going for it.
Wow.
It's they take down a statue of Jesus and are just like, yeah, let's do it.
Cool.
Yeah, the statue of Jesus joins in on the orgy.
Sick. Is it like Ghostbusters where everybody covers it in goo and then it claps and it walks around like regular Jesus?
Not quite.
Damn, they should have done that in Ghostbusters. I bet somebody did. Got the goo in their house and like put their little Jesus doll on it, and Jesus walked around. And they're like, we got Jesus in here. Anyway, that sounds cool.
It is. It's honestly, it reminded me a lot of, like, I think I've recommended some Dario Argento movies before. That sort of giallo style of sort of luridness and sexuality, but I think it is a really good version of that, and Oliver Reed, the main character, the actor playing the main character, is putting in a great performance. He fights someone with a stuffed crocodile he just threw out a window at one point. It's a good movie, is what I'm saying. So yeah, you should tell Warner Brothers that they should finally release it in America, because it's good and honestly not that shocking.
What if they make a Space Jam 3 and these guys are the Looney Tunes instead of the regular Looney Tunes?
All like the people from this movie?
Yeah. They have to join, I don't know, Anthony Davis or something to do this. It's pretty good.
To have a wild orgy with the statue of Jesus?
Yeah. To win, to save everybody from Don Cheadle.
I'd watch it.
Me too.
But those are my two recs. What about you, Nando?
I have a couple things. I was reading some comics this week. Excuse me. The main one I was reading was the oh my gosh. I'm sorry, this movie was boring.
And this podcast.
The movie was fine.
Yeah. Well, this podcast is always boring. I don't know why anyone listens.
That's fair. That's true of most podcasts, except for whatever the one podcast is doing. That one is probably sick. He's a pro. Yeah. It's his name. You know?
True.
He doesn't fuck around.
They don't let you name yourself podcast if you're not the best at podcasts.
Absolutely not. And like, yeah, they could just, any of us could write and produce the podcast for them. I mean, they'd have to pay us, but like, it would be good. They should do it. But anyway,
you lost that bet. You'd have to pay us.
Yeah, that's the problem, isn't it? So the comic I was reading, because I wanted to read a good comic about Nova, because there's rumors that he might be in the MCU soon. Specifically, this might be what Ryan Gosling is actually going to play instead of White Black Panther, unless that other guy gets in charge, and then it might be White Black Panther. But for now, it seems like it'll be Nova. So I was reading the Nova comics from the 2007s by Dan Abnett and Andy Lanning and Sarah Chen, and it's good. It's interesting. You know, it's kind of what you'd expect. And it would fit very nicely into the MCU because it's in the aftermath of the Kree-Skrull War, where Xandar is destroyed and he's the only Nova left. So you could easily slot that into, like, after Thanos killed all his friends in Infinity War, he's got to do space stuff now. As far as like what the movie would be based on this, I don't know, but it's interesting. The art's kind of cool. Other things I watched a video on YouTube that I thought was kind of interesting. A YouTuber called Gabby Bell. I've never heard of her before, but this one came up in my feed. It's called How Dropshipping Ruined Online Shopping. Pretty interesting, because online shopping is all how we shop now, and dropshipping fucked it all up. Specifically, it fucked up Etsy in a way that is kind of upsetting. And some people who like use Etsy and stuff like that more are probably very aware of this, because when I told Hannah about this, she was like, yeah, Etsy. And I was like, yeah, you watched the video? I was like, no, that's just what happens if you go on Etsy. So I thought that was an interesting video. I thought it was pretty funny. And yeah, drop shipping is another annoying hustle grind set thing. So, you know, it's stupid. Other things. X-Men this week was Madeline Pryor episode. Very good. Very, very weird. But I will say my big rec for this week on the and I finished Girls 5 Ever, which I love, still love, best show. But on a plane ride, I watched the new Roadhouse movie that is on Amazon, I think, or something, starring Jake Gyllenhaal. And I really liked it. I thought it was pretty fun. Have either of you guys seen it?
I've seen the original Roadhouse.
So, like, I have not seen the original Roadhouse. So that maybe seems to be the breaking point for whether you like this or not. If you love Roadhouse so much, this probably won't work for you. But if you don't, this might be fun.
Well, Roadhouse is a perfect movie.
That's what I hear. Yep, that's all the reviews say that. So, you know, this one is probably not as good as that. But I think Jake Gyllenhaal's just great in it. He's very good. And like, besides being insanely ripped and whatever, he's just got the energy that like Jason Statham has in all his movies now. But because he's not Jason Statham, it's kind of fun, you know? Like he walks up to a bunch of guys and he's like, hey, I'm going to beat you all up. So like, we don't have to fight because I will kill you. And then Jason Statham does it with like a stupid smirk on his face. He's like, all right, here's what I'm going to do. But like his is more just like, you know, we probably don't have to fight. Andy does cool fighting and it's pretty good. Like, I think the fighting is great. Billy Magnuson's in it. I enjoyed him as like the villain. Daniela Melchior, the rat catcher, is also in it, and she's fun. And then what's his name is in it? Conor McGregor is like kind of the ringer brought in by the antagonist to actually.
Is he Viper?
So I imagine in this movie he is called Knox, but he's weird. On one hand, I kind of enjoy some of the stuff he's doing. On the other hand, he's just a really not fun human being. So I don't want to get like excited about him or anything. But they do give him a couple one-liners that I like near the end. And just the idea of this guy is pretty funny because he just will not stop. And no one likes him. And he doesn't seem to like this, but he's just like going for it. And it's kind of fun. I would say like if you like Roadhouse, you know, give it some space from this and then watch this. But if you don't, like, I think it's a pretty solid action movie that, is good. And I think Jake Gyllenhaal makes it very watchable. If it didn't have him, it'd be super boring. I think it would be like any other Jason Statham movie, because I assume he would be who they would get for this. Besides that, those are my things. What are we doing next week?
Good question, because we have a week before.
I was gonna say,
do we?
Godzilla vs. Kong comes out next week.
Yeah.
Oh, it does. Yeah, it's Kong.
So that
Kong x Godzilla fight for the new empire.
Yeah, another Empire movie.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All these empires.
Another gorilla movie about how all the other gorillas are evil.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
DJ, do you have anything to plug?
So a couple plugs, and then also I want to give a March Madness update, but I'll do it after plugs. Plug one, Roses and Rejections, covering the Bachelor finale. We liked it. It was good enough. We did winners and losers. It was a fun little segment.
Did that crazy thing happen that you were saying might happen?
No, and I'm very mad. They lied to us. How
dare they?
Yeah.
A reality TV show being flexible with the truth.
I'll kill him.
I never.
Yeah.
We cover this on the podcast, but there are new avenues of lying. There's lying I'm used to, and then there's like gaslighting. We've
They're
entered
innovators
gaslighting
in the field of lying.
Yeah, they really
that's
are.
what we said. We said that on the podcast. They're finding new ways to lie to us.
Sounds like I could do this podcast.
You probably could. Yeah. if you could stomach reality television.
Mm.
So now, since Bachelorette's not until July, we're going to have a bunch of different content in between. I think we're going to do The Traitors season 2, which is on Peacock. I've heard it's very good.
You watched the first one?
No, but I heard you can just watch season 2 without having to watch season 1.
How are you going to be able to follow the intricate storyline?
I think it's.
I hope it's not a storyline because they know who the traitors are. I think that's supposed to be part of the secret. Although maybe that would be even more interesting because it would lead to more traitoring.
Yeah, just full on seasons. So yeah, and another thing I want to plug is I was on a podcast on the Pop Break Today feed called Batman by the Numbers. So it's a ranking podcast where you rank different stuff related to Batman, sometimes very tangentially. This podcast, it was me, Alex Marcus, Dan Cohen, and then there was one other person. We ranked all of the Nolan movies.
All 3 of them?
All
3 of them?
No, all 12 Nolan movies.
Oh, all the movies he's ever made, not just the Batman
all
ones.
Christopher Nolan movies. And as a doozy, it was if you like long podcasts, it's like a 3-hour podcast. So if you like this runtime, go check out that runtime. But I liked our list. I liked my list. I think the one that I most deviated from the rest of the panel was Interstellar. I did not love Interstellar as much as everyone else did. So that's that.
I'm with you on
I think
that
probably because I didn't watch it in theaters. Maybe that's why.
Well, if you don't watch a movie of his in theaters, it doesn't even count.
Yeah. In fact, you shouldn't have been able to express any opinion on
Yeah. They shouldn't have let you have it. Like, where did you get it from? Did you steal it from someone who went to a theater and saw it? You gotta get.
No, because then when they take him out of the theater, you're done. That's it. You can never see the movie ever after that.
Yep.
Like a Broadway show, you're screwed.
DJ, you can rent out a theater and have them play it for you.
That's true.
Oh, right.
Or you can hope they do what they do now, where they just bring all the movies back, like Star Wars and Spider-Man and stuff, into theaters.
Yeah, well, apparently they are bringing Interstellar back this year for the 10-year anniversary.
There we go.
Yeah,
maybe I'll go see it
all the time now.
Yeah. What are they going to show? This? Ghostbusters? Absolutely not. Find something else, please. Yeah.
So, yeah, go check that out. It's on the Pop Break Today feed. So those are my plugs. Diggins, plugs?
Nope. Nando?
Video. I'll have my part 2 of the In Defense of the DCEU video out pretty soon, probably like tonight or tomorrow night on YouTube, and then that will go with part 3 going on Nebula. Besides that, I don't think I've been up to too much. I was at a panel at PAX this week. I don't know if they were going to put it online or something, so they might. If they do, then I will tell people where to find it. This is about video game movies. I think we came up with some great points. But yeah, that was fun. But I don't think I have other stuff to plug. But yeah, DJ, let's have a status update on all our other cool stuff.
All right, so we're gonna do a March Madness update. This, as of our recording, so this could change. It will change by the time this releases. But for now,
no, it'll stay exactly the same.
Maybe.
Imagine
it's possible.
It could. Yeah. In the men's tournament, so unfortunately the person winning, and then if you are in the Discord, I'd love to know what your movie is if you eventually win, is Vodka and Donuts.
Which I checked is not a movie.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll have to figure what that is if they win. But then we have in second place Jack and Jill, I believe the Adam Sandler movie.
Oh god.
Yeah.
And then tied for third place we have Rise of the Guardians,
The Owls of Ga'Hoole.
Oh, I'm for it.
Cloud Atlas, which
a tale told over space and time.
Did you guys do Cloud Atlas?
No, we did
Jupiter Ascending. Yeah,
Jupiter
but not
Ascending.
Cloud Atlas.
And then still can't think of one. So,
and Deed Seeds.
And Deed Seeds, which also not a movie.
Yeah.
And then after that, there's like Cars, Babylon, SpongeBob movie. So
how are you doing in the thing?
Oh, awful. I'm in 25th and 40th place.
Oof. Oof. I think I'm in like 13th in this one, so still not great.
Okay.
Although I have a decent max, so we'll see.
Yeah, no, it could go your way. Then in the women's tournament, so we have a tie for first place. And again, the first one, it says Ben Preeb women picks 6. So again, if you're in the Discord, if you win, you'll let us know what movie. It's great.
Great.
And then also tied for first place, we have Minority Report.
Okay.
And then a ton tied for third. A lot of like, again, no names, so we'll have to figure that out if they win. But then you got Aeon Flux, Catwoman, Chicken Little. So
wow,
Sorry,
you skipped over.
You said there.
Aeon Flux, Eon Flux.
You said Aeon Flux at first. It sounded like
Aeon Flux.
But you skipped over mine that did make it in, I think.
Wait, which one's that?
Generation X, the show.
That's a. Oh my gosh, I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, it was like a show. They tried to make a movie, and then, or they tried to make a show, but they started with the movie on TV, and it's really bad. And I've watched it. Jubilee's white, and it's got Johnny Mnemonic in it. Those are the two things everybody kind of remembers from it. But it's got other weird stuff too.
Well,
is Keanu Reeves in it?
Oh, not Johnny Mnemonic. Who's the guy? It is the other guy. What's that guy's name? It's this thing I always confuse with Johnny Mnemonic.
I don't know. Do you have a helpful mnemonic device?
I mean, it used to be the J stands for Johnny Mnemonic, and then I kind of am done. So it is not a good mnemonic device. He's the guy from. Nope, this isn't helpful. All right. He plays. Who the fuck is this? Some guy. I don't know. There's everybody screaming at their TVs.
the TVs.
Yeah, the TVs. You can watch this on YouTube if you want.
Yeah.
He's from stuff. I think it's this guy. I think it's this guy named Matt Frewer. And I maybe he's not from Johnny Mnemonic, but he's from something kind of weird. And that's something that I've heard.
Oh, he's from Max Headroom.
Max Headroom. That's what I mean. Yes. That's the thing.
Okay.
Yeah. And a lot of other shit too. He was in a lot. Like, I'm looking at his IMDb page. He would be a problem for the IMDb game. So hopefully we figured out something else by the time that comes up.
Well, you have Iowa, which I love.
Mm-hmm.
I think Iowa's got a really good shot, but we'll see.
We will see.
We will see. But yeah, if you still haven't put in your like your name, your bracket name, you can in fact like go in and change it. So please do that.
Yeah, I would recommend it. It would be cool if they did that.
Otherwise, we'll have to hunt you down, or the Discord will bully you, or you'll never hear it because you're just entering random groups in the ESPN system.
Yeah, why would someone do that? It's not like you win anything.
Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
Anyway, I hope if
you win us being confused for a while. Like,
yeah, right.
If you want to sabotage a podcast, there's no easier way.
I hope that no less than the first 6 winners are all don't have something in their name and don't say anything when we try to get their attention.
Yeah.
Well, like some of them you could probably find maybe, but then we have like ESPN fan 451678294.
Oh, that's easy. Then we'll just go through all the ESPN fans until we get that one.
Okay.
In line.
Exactly.
We'll just count. So
that's that.
Actually,
Best of
I
luck
think
to
that
everyone.
one's me.
Oh, cool.
Okay. So Diggins, you have what? Oh, right. I can't see your movie so change it, Diggins. Change it.
Yeah.
I mean, mine is very obvious which my 2 are by the name.
Okay.
Because I don't want to reveal what my movie is
No.
if I win.
Well,
I don't want you to know what suffering you'll endure.
Very brave.
very, very brave. So yeah, that's the update on the tournament.
Cool.
We'll have another one next week.
Other update.
Other update?
About the other update. About the thing.
Oh yeah. Will someone else take this?
Oh, I kind of thought that was what this was. Diggins, you want to do this one?
Certainly. So, the boys and I have done some charity streams in the past, and we've decided to do another one. So we are on April 19th. We are going to do a charity stream for Heal Palestine, which is an organization that is, besides doing aid work in Palestine right now, is also generally attempts to it specifically works towards aiding children, both through the emergency aid that they need right now, but also long-term opportunities for education, humanitarian aid, healthcare, and just generally trying to improve the lives of Palestinian children so that they can, live a better life than they have to right now because of the war going on in Gaza and all the horrible things that we're seeing every day that is happening there. So yeah, we decided we wanted to do a little charity to at least a little tiny bit help out with that. So we'll be fundraising for Heal Palestine, and we'll be doing so in classic, mostly nitpicking fashion by torturing ourselves with a bad movie, an infamous one that nearly bankrupted Whoopi Goldberg trying to get out of, Theodore Rex.
Yeah, which none of us have seen. I watched the first 5 minutes of it and I was like, oh, we got to do something with this because it's too weird. But I have not watched any more of it. So we'll see in real time, if it's even too upsetting for us to continue doing. No one has tested. But
this will be a watch along where we'll be streaming ourselves and like a time code. And you'll be able to, watch along with the movie and see us reacting to what horrors unfold on the screen, because that's the way we can legally do this.
That's right. And we'll make it. We'll tell you how to see it, like where to watch it, because there's ways. But definitely, you don't watch it until we watch it, so you can be surprised with us. I would say
enjoy the ride.
Recommendation. Yeah,
enjoy the ride.
It's gonna be pretty exciting. I mean, we'll see. Maybe it'll stink. Maybe the first 5 minutes are amazing and it gets really boring. But I have a feeling it's only up from there. Yeah. So we're gonna do that in like 3 weeks around.
Yeah,
that.
April 19th, which is a Friday, is the date we're aiming for this. So mark your calendars. We also might do, once the movie's over, if there's still people watching and everything, we might, have a conversation. Maybe do another IMDb B as in spelling bee live.
Oh God,
who can say? We haven't decided fully yet, but Theodore Rex is definitely part of the program.
Yeah, it's a famous movie everyone loves, so I'm very excited to talk about it. And
if you've never heard
of
Theodore Rex, by the way, just to give you a little taste of what we were in for. It's a movie about a hypothetical world in which dinosaurs and humans evolved together into intelligent beings. And Whoopi Goldberg is a police officer who is paired with Theodore Rex, T-Rex cop. And they have to solve a mystery together. Some crimes have gone down in Dino City. I don't know if that's the name of the city, but so... It's a unlikely buddy cop romp about Whoopi Goldberg in a giant, terrible-looking dinosaur mascot costume.
Yeah, it's from back in the day when all the movies had to have dinosaurs in them because of Jurassic Park and our fascination as a nation with like the T-Rex that everybody found. It was the hot shit. So, get excited for that. I bet people will be excited for that.
I hope they will be, and I hope that, if you can spare any money, we haven't set up the thing yet, but we will for the stream itself. Just anything you can spare, even just a little bit, because I mean, things are, again, everything you see every day coming out of Gaza just looks so horrible. And like, I would genuinely hope that whatever your feelings about the conflict there, that we can all agree that children don't deserve to suffer.
Yeah. And
that children should be protected and cared for. And that's what this organization is about. So, yeah, I mean, I'm sorry to break things serious for a moment, but I really do feel strongly about this.
So, yeah, we got a couple weeks to get ready, think about anything, and give us suggestions if you want us to like do something else afterwards, like a game or something. I don't know.
Yeah, because the movie's only so long, so we're like, oh, do we want to like play Among Us, obviously.
Oh, that's what the kids love.
Yeah, the kids love Among Us now.
They're making an Among Us show because they know.
I know.
That's what the kids love.
I saw the cast list. It's interesting.
It's a lot of people that you're like, they would do that if you gave them, told to. They kind of look like the colors that they might be playing. I don't even know. Maybe I should make a video about that, saying that they're all the wrong color or something. I don't know.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
But last time we did RRR, which was 3 hours long, right?
That's true. I think this movie is like as short as humanly possible. Like,
yeah.
Because Whoopi Goldberg didn't want to do it.
Yeah. They couldn't get enough.
So we'll have to figure out something to keep the
maybe,
good times
maybe
going.
we could do Helldivers.
Oh, don't tempt me with a good time.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. But until then, until next week, I've been at Nando Movies on Twitter.
I'm at Zippy by Day.
I'm at This Is an Odd Name.
Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
Peace.
Bye.